On the third day of my business trip, I happened to open my boyfriend's secret alt Twitter account. Just as luck would have it, he had posted a status update just a few dozen seconds earlier. The greatest regret in life is meeting the girl you want to take care of for the rest of your days, right before you get married. Accompanying the text was a secretly taken photo, a young girl in a floral dress. Her name is Suli, a junior fellow student of my boyfriend's, sweet and innocent looking, 10 years younger than me. 01. I stared at the phone screen, momentarily stunned. The boss next to me secretly nudged me with his elbow. What are you daydreaming for? Pay attention during the meeting with the client. Go over the plan one more time. You'll be presenting on stage later. Do a good job. I immediately put my phone back in my bag and gave the boss an okay sign. Don't worry, we've got this. We'll win them over. After the meeting, the boss told me to grab a quick lunch and that we'd head to the factory site in half an hour. I took out my phone to call in a lunch order. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted that big-eyed emoji app. I couldn't help myself. I opened my boyfriend's alt account again. That tweet was already deleted. Just then, my best friend called. Finally, you picked up. My best friend's exaggerated voice came through the phone. You have no idea what I just saw. Your darling young doctor was shopping at the supermarket with some young woman. They bought 2 whole bags of groceries, meat and veggies, and were laughing and chatting the whole time. I followed them all the way, and they went straight into your neighborhood. Oh my god, he's actually taking someone into the home you two share. Xiaoxia, how can you not say a word about something this serious? I pressed a hand to my forehead and smiled bitterly. Girl, I'd love to talk, but you've been rattling on non-stop and haven't given me a chance. Best friend. Hold on, I even took a picture of her. I'm sending it to you. Ding dong. My best friend instantly sent several photos. The angles were tricky, clearly candid shots, yet the faces were captured very clearly. The man was wearing rimless glasses, looking gentle, refined, and handsome. My boyfriend of 8 years, Ho Junfei, and the girl, she was a bit slim, radiating youthful sweetness. Her name is Suli, his junior in school and also his hometown acquaintance. She is now a senior at University A, my best friend urged anxiously. Did you see them? I murmured in acknowledgement. My bestie was furious. Just an oh. I smiled helplessly. Then what do you want me to say? On the other end of the phone, she was practically cracking her knuckles. You should come back right now, beat that mistress's head in, and make that scumbag parade down the street in his underwear. I rubbed my throbbing temples. First, I'm on a business trip right now. If I close the deal, I'll get promoted when I return. I really can't leave. Second, I still can't be sure if they're actually having an affair. I might come back for nothing. Lastly, even if I find out they're fooling around, so what? Coming back would just mean stirring up a scene. Xiaoyu, breaking up when you're at the verge of marriage isn't that simple. It takes time, energy, and emotional toll. That jerk made me cry a river, but work can buy me a Louis Vuitton bag. What do you think I should choose? My bestie sighed. I get all that logically, but I still feel it's so unfair to you. You've been with him for years, supported him through 2 grad school exams, and then through his PhD. Back when he was preparing for the exams, you cooked him nutritious meals every day. If he dares to betray you, I'll destroy him. I laughed. I knew you'd always have my back. I'll bring you something good when I come back. Hang up the phone. I stood there in a daze, my nose tingled with sorrow. Tears seemingly on the verge of flooding out. I held them back, gripping my phone tightly as I struggled to contain myself. After a few minutes of composing myself, I forced a smile and took out my phone to order food. I need to eat well. I have a busy afternoon ahead. 02. This business trip went very smoothly. I landed a big order. I was successfully promoted to sales director for East China. 3 days later, my boss and I returned to City S together. Recognizing my hard work and contributions, my boss specially granted me 2 days off. He was about to arrange for a driver to take me home. I smiled and said it wasn't necessary. My boyfriend would come pick me up, dragging my large suitcase. I called Ho Junfei 3 times and sent 5 WeChat messages at the airport. He didn't reply to any of them. The early March rain fell on my body, its chill piercing into my bones like needles. Helpless, I had no choice but to take a taxi home myself, entering the password to unlock the door. I was greeted by a rich aroma of home-cooked food, for dishes were already set on the table. Ho Junfei, wearing an apron, was busy stir-frying in the kitchen, and on the sofa lay a middle-aged stranger in his 50s. He looked a bit haggard, with graying hair, fast asleep, a still-burning cigarette held between 2 fingers. A long column of ash had gathered, then, thud, fell onto the pure white shag carpet. I slammed the door shut, startling the middle-aged man awake. He sat up, stubbed the cigarette into an ashtray, rubbed his sleepy eyes, glanced at the wedding photo on the wall, and then looked at me. You are. The man stood up and smiled. You must be Xiao Xia, Junfei's girlfriend. Hearing the commotion, Ho Junfei came out holding a spatula. When he saw me, he looked a bit surprised and blurted out, "Aren't you on a business trip?" He walked over naturally, helped pull my suitcase inside, and introduced, "This gentleman is Su Li's father." He took out a pair of spare men's slippers from the shoe cabinet and placed them by my feet. Su Li's mom has been in the hospital recently, and it's only 2 bus stops away from our place. Su Li and her uncle take turns staying with her at night, so they'll be staying with us for a few days. I gave a faint Ho Junfei hurried back to the kitchen, needing to tend to the dishes he was stir-frying. I pulled my suitcase into the master bedroom. The warm light was on in the master bathroom, and from inside came the sound of rushing water. It hit my heart like a dull punch. The sound of water stopped. A moment later, the door opened. From inside, a girl in cotton pajamas walked out, towel-drying her hair, a fine mist of water on her fair face like a jasmine flower freshly touched by winter rain, fresh and pure. Su Li froze when she saw me. "Chow, Sister Chow, aren't you on a business trip?" Look, exactly the same words as Ho Junfei. I looked down and saw she was wearing a pair of pink bunny-eared slippers, the ones I usually use. Su Li looked a bit uneasy, taking a few steps back, and said awkwardly, "I don't know if the senior mentioned it to you, but my mom is in the hospital. The hospital ward doesn't have a place to shower, so I just borrowed your bathroom." Just then, Ho Junfei's voice came through, "Time to eat." 03. On the table were 4 dishes and a soup, all perfectly cooked and aromatic. Ho Junfei did all of this in 8 years together. He had never cooked a proper meal. At best, he would make instant noodles. I had no idea he had it in him. The atmosphere at the table was a bit awkward. Father and daughter Su exchanged glances, eating in silence. Ho Junfei picked up a piece of braised pork and put it on my plate. "How did the business trip go?" I nodded. "Pretty smoothly," Ho Junfei said. "Why didn't you let me know when you came back? I could have picked you up." I chewed on the meat. "I did. You didn't reply." Ho Junfei was taken aback for a moment, then laughed and said, "Oh, my phone was charging." The kitchen was noisy, so I didn't hear it. Another suffocating silence fell. Su's father said cheerfully, "Xiao Qiao, you're really lucky to have met a good kid like Junfei. He's highly educated, considerate, and can cook. Good men like that are rare these days." I pulled out my phone from my pocket and opened a group buying app. "Uncle, I booked a hotel for you. It's conveniently located, just a few minutes walk from the hospital." Su's father quietly put down his chopsticks and turned his head away. Ho Junfei gave me a gentle nudge. "Auntie will be discharged soon. Uncle is having a hard time right now. It's only for a few days staying at our place." I waved my phone. "I've already solved the problem. Let them stay at the hotel." Ho Junfei felt humiliated and said, slightly angry, "It's such a small thing. Do you really have to make a big deal out of it?" I faced him squarely and said, "What about you? This is our wedding house. It took a year to decorate and another 6 months to air out. I, the bride-to-be, have lived here for less than half a month. Haven't even warmed my slippers, and without a word, you let outsiders move in." Ho Junfei clenched his fists in anger. "What outsiders? They're my fellow townsfolk, and Lily is my junior from school." Just then, Su Li, who had been silent all along, put down her chopsticks. "I'm sorry, Miss Chow." Her eyes reddened as she stood up and tugged at her father's sleeve. "I'm really sorry for moving in without checking with you first." With that, she gave a deep bow. Su's father sighed and also bowed to me. The middle-aged man's back was hunched, his face etched with embarrassment and frustration. "I'm really sorry, Miss Chow." For a moment, my heart softened a little. I also wondered if I was being too aggressive. Su Li wiped away her tears and choked out, "Sorry for troubling you these past few days. My mom is still in the hospital, so we'll leave now." Ho Junfei quickly tried to persuade her. "Xiao Li, don't cry. Xiao Xia didn't mean it like that. She's not trying to kick you out." I set aside my earlier goodwill. "No, that's exactly what I mean. I don't like strangers staying in my wedding house." Su Li glanced at me, then went to pack her things with her father. A few minutes later, the father and daughter changed their shoes, picked up their luggage, and walked out the door. Ho Junfei still hurriedly followed, trying to apologize. "It's still raining outside. Wait, let me grab a coat and walk you out. Wait for me in the underground garage." 04. He saw the Su father and daughter into the elevator. Ho Junfei returned home to get His car keys. He stood at the entrance, staring straight at me. I sat at the dining table, looking at the 4 dishes and 1 soup. My expression was calm, but my hands, hidden beneath the table, wouldn't stop trembling. Xiao Xia, when did you become so cold and heartless? Ho Junfei glared at me. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Why humiliate them? Uncle Su is an honest taxi driver. Just now, he wiped away tears behind everyone's back. You were way too overbearing. I let out a cold laugh. Don't guilt trip me. If the father and daughter had told me beforehand, I might have agreed, but in the end, this is all on you. You went behind my back and made your own decision, so now you have to bear the consequences. Ho Junfei, outmaneuvered by me, retorted in frustration. Suli is such a timid and innocent person, how would she dare to talk to you? Besides, this isn't such a big deal. Timid, innocent. I remember 4 months ago, around 11 p.m., Ho Junfei and I were about to have sex. I had just stepped out of the shower, and there was Ho Junfei, looking both apologetic and embarrassed, saying he wasn't in the right state tonight and couldn't get it up. Maybe we could try another day, since he put it that way. Could I really force him? Half an hour later, I fell asleep. Ho Junfei quietly threw off the covers, went to the study, and had a video call with Suli. He asked, "Which problem is giving you trouble?" Suli giggled, "This one. I feel like I just can't get my thinking straight. I'm done for. I'm afraid my grad school entrance exam is going to crash and burn in math." Ho Junfei said very gently, "It's okay, let's go step by step." Suli asked, "Has Sister Chiao gone to bed? Am I disturbing you too by asking you questions so late?" Ho Junfei quickly replied, "Not at all. Sister Chiao is busy with work and went to bed early." While explaining the problem, I saw Ho Junfei secretly screenshot a few photos of Suli. Before this, I was still convincing myself. Ordinary couples often hit the 7-year itch, let alone us after 8 years. No one is perfect, so I allow him the occasional lapse. I don't call him out on it, as long as he stays within bounds, corrects himself immediately, and still loves me. But when those boundaries were crossed step by step, to the point where I can no longer pretend, look at the way he looks at me now. Cold enough. 05. Now that it's come to this, I don't feel like saying a single word. Ho Junfei shot me a glare, grabbed the car keys, and hurried out. The room finally fell quiet. I looked at the cold dishes in front of me and couldn't help but let out a chuckle, laughing. I then started crying. I hadn't been drinking, but I felt dizzy, lightheaded, as if drunk. I called my best friend, Xiaoyu. "Hello." I hadn't even finished the first word before I burst into tears. She asked repeatedly, "What's wrong? Don't cry now. Xia Xia, you're home, aren't you? So, did you catch him cheating? That bastard Ho Junfei really had an affair. Wait for me, I'll be right there," I quickly said. "Don't." Over the phone, I briefly told my best friend what had happened at home. She listened quietly the whole time. "That goddamn bastard," she couldn't help but curse. "He's the one who did wrong, yet he turns around and blames you for being overbearing. What a scumbag." Choking back tears, I gave a bitter smile. "Tell me, don't men all prefer them young?" My best friend scoffed. "He's the one who's too shallow. He doesn't deserve an outstanding, mature woman like you." I curled up in the chair and fell silent for a long time. Before, I always thought he was the quintessential engineering guy, overly rational, too much of a straight shooter, and clueless about romance. I remember when I had a miscarriage 2 years ago, he made me chicken soup, and his hand was red from the burns. Even knowing he used frozen chicken drumsticks from the supermarket, I was still deeply moved. He had to go to another province for an academic conference and asked if I'd be all right at home alone. I said I'd mostly recovered and not to worry. He ordered takeout for me, then actually left. Seeing the 4 dishes and a soup he made today, he rushed out anxiously after that young girl. So it turns out the straight-laced science guy does understand romance. He just doesn't give it to me. On the other end of the line, my best friend lit a cigarette and let out a long sigh. From the looks of it, they probably haven't slept together. Xia Xia, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? I used to think marriage would be fine. Which couple doesn't have problems? Besides, an 8-year relationship isn't something you can just let go of. But now, loving or not loving has become all too obvious. I can't stand it. Him lying next to me, having sex with me, while his mind is on another woman. Xiaoyu, I'm not sure I want to marry him anymore. My best friend on the phone immediately asked, "Are you sure about that?" Just then, my phone vibrated. Someone had sent me a message. I opened it and saw it was Ho Junfei 06, Xiao Xia. I've thought about this for a long time. I find it hard to accept your arrogance and bullying. The Sue father and daughter are my guests. The way you treated them is essentially a sign of disrespect toward me. I think we need to consider whether our values are compatible. The moment I read this, I laughed. Soon after, Ho Junfei called. I hung up on my best friend first and answered his call. Hello, Jiao Xia, it's me, Suli. Is sitting right next to me right now, and she's been crying non-stop. The phone is on speaker, so please apologize to her immediately. If you insist on not apologizing, then I'll have to seriously reconsider whether we're still suitable for marriage. My anger flared up instantly. Fine, then let's not get married. There was a long silence on the phone. Neither of us said a word. Second by second, time passed. During those dozen or so silent seconds, I was seething with anger, tears of frustration falling against my will, and then I remembered many scenes from the past 8 years. That year I was 23, a fresh graduate entering the workforce. My first job was as a course consultant for postgraduate and civil service exam prep institutions. That day I was handing out flyers at the main gate of University A. Many students took them and threw them away on the spot. Only Ho Junfei took the flyer, read it carefully, smiled at me, and said, "Thank you, if I'm interested, I'll drop by." The shop. Later, he actually came to the shop to inquire about course registration, and we added each other on WeChat. After that, he confessed his feelings to me. He's a very smart and rational person, patient enough to listen to me vent about work and colleagues, and helps me sort through my thoughts when I'm most confused. He would wait for me for 2 hours downstairs at my company late at night when I worked overtime. When I came downstairs, he would immediately get up from the sofa, rub his sleepy eyes, take out an umbrella from his bag, wave at me with a smile, and say, "Hungry, babe?" At a street food stall, I was harassed by a drunk thug. Without a word, he grabbed a bottle and charged at them. The other guys were all big and burly, while he was slender and scholarly. The result was a one-sided beating, with him pinned to the ground. At the police station, I was crying messily. He smiled, comforted me, and patted my head, but that touched his wound, making him wince in pain. 8 years of feelings, even with all kinds of unexpected situations. How could it be so easy to cut it off, and how could I be willing to? I took a deep breath. Right now, both of us are too emotional. There's no way we can calm down and communicate. The best solution is to hang up, take 2 or 3 days apart, and then talk things through. I was just about to speak, then Ho Junfei on the other end of the line said, "Are you crazy?" Beep, 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 a busy signal, and he hung up. I still held the phone to my ear, my mind suddenly going blank. What had he just said? It wasn't until my best friend called that I snapped back to reality. The screen was lit up, the ringtone persisting relentlessly. I answered, filled with a belly full of resentment and sadness I wanted to pour out. "Xia Xia, why did you suddenly hang up just now?" My best friend probed carefully. "Was it Ho Junfei who called you?" I covered my mouth and sobbed, the muffled cries slipping through my fingers. My best friend panicked. "I'll come over right now. Don't cry, babe," I sobbed uncontrollably. "He wants me to apologize to Suli. He said if I don't apologize, we won't get married." I told him fine, then we won't. You know what? He called me crazy. Xiaoyu, there's no hope anymore. He and I are completely done. My best friend kept comforting me. "He's the crazy one. Wait for me. I'm coming over right now." 07. The call ended. I clutched my phone and cried, then suddenly turned my head and saw the table full of food. Ho Junfei, fuck you. I swept the dishes onto the floor, stomping on them like a form of release, cursing wildly. I want revenge. I want to go over there right now, grab Ho Junfei by his goddamn hair, and beat his head in. I'll go to his school and make a scene, get him held back a year, ruin his government graduate recruitment, and humiliate him in front of his advisor and lab mates. That's right, and I'm going after Suli. That bitch, isn't she taking the grad school entrance exam? Didn't she just get into the second round? Meddling in someone else's relationship, with that kind of character, what's the point of her taking the exam? I'll report her to the admissions office. I have dozens of ways to mess with them, make them socially dead, make them suffer real losses. I know that if I'm willing to go all the way, I can do it. I wipe away my tears and stumble toward the fridge, opening it. I take out a can of beer and chug half of it. The rising fizz makes me feel sick. I smash the remaining half onto the floor, then turn and go to the liquor shelf in the living room, grabbing a bottle of red wine. This is good wine, a gift from a friend on our engagement day. I fumble with the bottle, trying to open it, but can't, so I smash the bottle against the tea table with a sharp crack. The bottle broke in two, spilling red liquid all over the carpet. I held the broken half of the bottle, tilted my head back, and drank. A wave of dizziness hit me. I slumped to the floor and cried. So what, after getting back at them, after venting my anger, what then? Just then, my phone rang. I looked down, and a tear splattered onto the screen. It was my boss. I quickly wiped away my tears, pulled myself together, and answered the phone. Hello, Mr. Lee. I sat up straight. My boss chuckled sheepishly on the other end of the line, but what he said was utterly unapologetic. Oh, I know you're on vacation, so I shouldn't be bothering you. It's just that there seems to be a small issue with our last proposal. I've added my comments and sent the file to your email. If you're not too busy, could you do a little more work? I clenched my fist. My boss can torment me 1,000 times, and I'll still treat him like my first love. No problem. I put on my professional fake smile. I'll send it to your email before work tomorrow morning. My boss pushed his luck. Oh, could you make it by midnight tonight? It's a bit urgent. I glanced at my watch. It was 8 in the evening. Fine. I gritted my teeth and replied. My boss chuckled. Thanks for your hard work. Then, shower, you really are my right-hand girl. I'll treat you to a nice meal later. I rolled my eyes. Right-hand girl, my foot. I'm just your loyal beast of burden. After hanging up, I opened my phone to check the email and estimated it would take at least 3 hours to finish the work. I pushed myself up from the coffee table, and dizziness made me stumble. This state won't do. I rushed to the bathroom, stuck my fingers down my throat, and threw up all the alcohol I had just drunk. After splashing some water on my face, I looked at myself in the mirror. My makeup is completely ruined from crying. My eyes are red and swollen. What a mess. So what? I ask myself again. After getting revenge and letting off all that anger, what will I really gain? Or rather, is this man worth my time, energy, and emotions? He's not the only pillar in my life. I have a job, parents, money, friends, good looks, and a decent figure. Losing him won't make me fall apart. He's not worth it. 08. The bathroom was still damp, carrying the scent of Sue Lee's body wash from her recent shower. I frowned and walked out. Taking a deep breath, I made myself a large glass of honey water to sober up and tied back my loose hair. Before starting work, I had a few things to take care of. First, I changed the password for the door lock. Second, I contacted the property manager, presented my home purchase contract, property deed, and bank statements as proof, and demanded the immediate reactivation of Ho Junfei's access card, which had been disabled. Furthermore, I informed the property management that Ho Junfei has a tendency toward violence and homicide, and that he would likely harass me, their esteemed resident, over the next few days. I will call them any time to ask for help, and when the time comes, I will request the property management and security guards to remove him, and I support calling the police. I formally inform them that if any accident happens to me, I will hold the property management legally accountable. The third thing, I have scheduled a deep cleaning service and a same-city courier for tomorrow. The fourth thing, I have blocked Ho Junfei's phone number and sent him a WeChat message. Cancel the wedding. Agreed. I paid for the apartment in full. Your family covered the renovation costs, and both families contributed to the appliances, all with receipts and purchase records. I will hire a professional to calculate everything, and within a week, the accounts will be reviewed and settled. Since we are not married now and our assets are not mixed, separating them will be relatively easy. I will send your stuff to your school dormitory tomorrow. If anything comes up, I'll email you. I'm very busy right now, so don't bother me. After sending that message on WeChat, I blocked him. Just then, a message arrived from my best friend. I'm downstairs at your place. Open the door. 09. My best friend came in, out of breath, carrying 2 plastic bags full of stuff. She took a look around the room, walked over, hugged me tightly, rubbed my back, and gently comforted me. It's okay, your girl is here. I specially bought snacks, crawfish, and beer. I'll stay with you tonight while you cry your heart out. I pushed her away and smiled wryly. What are you crying about? I still have to work tonight. My best friend looked at me as if I were an alien. Work? Did you and Ho Junfei make up? Is everything resolved? I shrugged. No. I just told him, the wedding is off. Her eyes widened like saucers. Then you still feel like working? What else should I do? I took a big gulp of honey water. Get so angry I develop breast hyperplasia. Cry until I get ovarian cysts. He's not that important. She pointed at the mess all over the floor. Then what about all this? I shrugged. Oh, just a bit out of control. I wrapped my arms around my best friend and rested my head on her shoulder. My one and only sister. Could you help me tidy up the place a little? My boss is waiting. Online for my report, I'm really swamped. My best friend rolled her eyes in exasperation, so I came over to be your housekeeper. I pushed her into the kitchen and pleaded pitifully, could you also make me something to eat? I haven't had a thing all day, and I had some alcohol earlier, so my stomach feels a little off. Fine, fine. She tapped my head with her finger and gestured with her chin toward the other room. Go do your work. Leave the rest to me. Just as she finished speaking, her phone rang. It's him. She waved her phone. He's coming to me, probably because he can't reach you. Should I answer? I nodded. Put it through. My best friend answered the phone, and the next second, Ho Junfei's anxious voice came through. Hello. Ho Junfei sounded like he was driving. Has Xiao Xiao contacted you? My best friend glanced at me and said calmly, no. What's up? Did you two have a fight? Ho Junfei was visibly agitated. Tell me about this Xiao Xiao. My hometown buddy's mom is in the hospital, and her family isn't well off, so I let her dad stay at my place for a few days. Xiao Xiao completely lost it, didn't give them any respect at all and kicked them out right at the dinner table. She clearly looks down on rural people. You should have seen her condescending attitude. I said a couple of things to her, and now she wants to call off the wedding. Hey, Xiaoyu, do you think she's seeing someone else? Is she just making up excuses to break up with me, kicking people out for no reason? Don't you think there's something wrong with her? Her best friend stood with one hand on her hip, the other mimicking a martial artist's inner power channeling move she'd seen on TV, and yelled into the phone, the hell is wrong with you? Your whole family's messed up. If nothing's wrong with you, why'd you bring an outsider into our wedding flat? You got no money, couldn't put your hometown friend up in a hotel. How come you're so full of love and care? How come you're so meddlesome? Why don't you go work for the UN? I've never even seen you treat your own mother this well. You say she's got someone else. Let me ask you, is your hometown friend a man or a woman? I'm guessing a woman, otherwise you wouldn't be swarming all over it like a fly on a pile of dog crap. This excited, Ho Junfei was left speechless, stammering, Finally, he managed to choke out, you're utterly impossible. With that, he hung up. I gave my best friend a thumbs up. She flipped her hair and said, when it comes to arguing, I've never lost. I gave her a hug. If he calls again, just hang up. If he tries to reach you, tell him you're not getting involved in this mess, otherwise, that scumbag might say you're stirring the pot and shift all the blame onto you. She hummed in agreement, took my hand, and said, if you need anything, just say the word. I joked, I might have to ask you to set me up with someone in the future. I remember the year before last, when I was breaking up with that bastard, you were going to introduce me to a handsome criminal police officer. She scoffed. Too late, I think he's already married. 10. I sat at the dining table in the living room, working. Staying busy helps you dodge the unhappiness. Staying busy helps you ignore the tears that once fell. Staying busy numbs the sharp pain wringing your heart. Staying busy helps you forget him. At 9 in the evening, the sound of a failed password entry came from outside, then came the knocking. I glanced up briefly and continued typing on my laptop. Soon, the knocking turned into pounding on the door. Xiao Xia, open the door. My best friend ran to the door with a broom, striking a fighting stance, and turned her head to look at me. I shook my head and contacted the property management. Within a few minutes, my mom called. I rubbed my throbbing temples and answered. Xia Xia, did you have a fight with Junfei? I murmured in acknowledgement and continued working on the report. My mom scolded me gently, no matter what happened, how could you lock him outside? Junfei just told me that you got angry because he brought some fellow townsmen to stay at our place for a few days. This isn't a big deal. How could you bring up breaking up? Your wedding is right around the corner, and all the relatives and friends have been invited. If you call it off now, what will people think of us? You're already over 30, and at this age, it's going to be very hard for you to find another partner. Don't you realize? Junfei is good-looking and well-educated. A man as great as him is hard to find even with a lantern. What are you fussing about? Sit down and talk things through properly. How can you lock him outside? If things don't work out, I'll take the night train over and see what's really going on between you two. With a click of my mouse, I finished calculating the last set of data. I took a deep breath, forced myself not to get angry, and said to my mom, Mom, this is between Ho Junfei and me. I can handle it myself. I'm the one who's been married to him for decades, not you. You'd better not get involved. not give advice, and not come over. My brother and sister-in-law were already on the verge of divorce over my nephew's schooling. Just last week, I lent my brother 400,000 yuan so they could afford a school district house. If you say one more word, I'll recall the money immediately. If he doesn't pay it back, I'll sue. I have the IOU signed by both of them. If my brother and his wife get divorced, you'll be the one to blame. Think about that. My mom got so angry she started cursing at me, then broke down crying, accusing me of not knowing right from wrong, saying she only spoke up because she cared about me. But cursing aside, she really didn't dare to say anything more. Annoyed, I just hung up the phone. Immediately after that, I placed an order for a gold bracelet and sent my mom a message. Mom, I was angry just now and said some harsh things. Don't take it to heart. I just bought you a gold bracelet and also booked a tour for you. You should go away for a few days. The issues between Ho Junfei and me can't be sorted out in just a few words. I've made this decision after careful thought. At a time like this, you should trust your daughter and stand by her side. Not long after, my mom sent me several 60-second voice messages, all of them tearful. She said roughly that she had gotten a bit worked up too, and that she was afraid I might make a choice in the heat of the moment that I would regret for life. She told me to return the gold bracelet and not waste the money, and that she wouldn't go on the trip either. She also told me that if anything happens, I should call her and my brother right away, and that my family would have my back. I let out half a sigh of relief. I know my mom well. First scare them, then soften the tone, and that usually does the trick. Just then, my best friend pointed at the screen, turned to me, and said, "The property management is here." Looks like they're arguing with Ho Junfei. 11. A camera had been installed outside. I directly opened the monitoring app on my laptop. Outside the door stood the property manager and two security guards. Ho Junfei clutched his phone in one hand and a dripping wet umbrella in the other. A flash of anger knitted his brows as he offered a rueful explanation. "I'm the man of this house. You should have seen me when the apartment was handed over. Right now, my fiancé and I just had an argument, just a little domestic dispute, nothing serious. You can leave now." The property manager forced a smile. "But the owner of this unit, Miss Chow, says she's single. She called us up here, so we..." Ho Junfei's face darkened further. He pounded on the door directly. "Chow Xia, open up. If you don't, I'll pry the lock." The property manager tried to mediate. "Sir, how about this? If it really is a domestic issue, you and Miss Chow can sort it out privately. The way you're acting now is disturbing the neighbors." Ho Junfei was livid. "This is one apartment per floor. What neighbors am I disturbing? I'm knocking on my own door. Is that against the law?" Seeing that he couldn't talk Ho down, the property manager called me. "Hello, Miss Chow." Before I could even finish my sentence, Ho Junfei snatched my phone away. "Chow Xia." Ho Junfei stepped back a few paces, tilted his head up to face the camera above the door. His handsome face twisted with anger. "Open the door." I clenched my fists and stared at the computer screen. "No." Ho Junfei pressed his lips together and gritted his teeth. "Then take my number and WeChat out of your block list. We need to talk." I sneered. "No, we don't." Ho Junfei tossed aside his umbrella, gave the camera a thumbs up, and said, "Fine, you win. I'm not leaving this spot. Don't you dare come out for the rest of your life." The property manager quickly tried to reason with him. "Sir, please calm down. Ms. Chow has instructed us beforehand, if you refuse to leave, we can call the police to ensure her safety." Ho Junfei raised an eyebrow. "Call the police? Go ahead. I don't believe she won't open the door when they show up." I looked at the man on the screen and went straight for his weak spot. "Ho Junfei, I'm not going to call the police, but I will call your advisor and ask him to come over and drag you away." Ho Junfei's body stiffened. "You wouldn't dare." I smiled. "I not only have your advisor's contact info, but also the contact info of your other fellow disciples, both senior and junior. How about I invite them all to come watch the show?" Ho Junfei glared viciously at the camera. A few seconds later, he squeezed out through gritted teeth, "You win." He returned the phone to the property manager, picked up the umbrella from the floor, and left in the elevator. I looked at the surveillance screen, expecting to smile like a victor, but in the end, all I felt was a hollow sense of loss. December 12, I sent an email to my boss just before midnight. I stretched my arms and massaged my sore shoulders and neck. After my bedtime routine, I went back to the second bedroom. My best friend was already lying in bed. Seeing me come in, she lifted the covers and patted the spot next to her. "Chow Xia, you really are ruthless when the mood strikes." My best friend shook her head with a laugh. "You're at the stage of splitting up property, yet you sit there working as steady as an old dog." If someone poked you with a needle, I bet ice would. Come out. I got into bed and lay down. It's no big deal. Time to sleep. The lights went out, and before me was nothing but darkness. The two of us chatted idly, with no real rhythm to our conversation. My best friend said, "I really admire you. You cut it off. Just like that. It's been less than 8 hours since you got off the plane." I couldn't do that. I'd be stuck in endless cycles of fighting and crying with my husband. I stared at the pitch-black ceiling. That's because we've broken up and gotten back together so many times before. I've been angry countless times, tried to talk myself out of it over and over, and reminded myself of his good qualities whenever I hated him, but this time, I just couldn't convince myself anymore. As we talked, my friend eventually fell asleep. I had been busy all day, traveling by car and plane, dealing with emotions, handling work. I thought I'd be exhausted, but I didn't feel sleepy at all. I tiptoed out of bed and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window in the living room. Suddenly, in that 1 second, all the hurt and pain seemed to hit me at once. I collapsed, sitting on the ground and crying uncontrollably. I opened my phone and removed Ho Junfei's WeChat from the blacklist. I tapped on his profile, typed words several times, and deleted them several times. I opened Weibo again, wanting to see what his alt account had posted. I hoped to see something heartless and hateful from him, so it would strengthen my resolve, but I was also afraid of seeing it, afraid he would strike another blow to my already battered heart. So I just sat there, flipping through old photos, crying as I scrolled, crying as I deleted them. When the sky began to lighten, I returned to the bedroom, pretending nothing had happened. I lay down on the bed. There's a popular saying online, "You once thought you were different, but in the end, it all turns out the same." Ho Junfei, in the end, we both ended up here. 13. After a groggy 2 hours of sleep, I got up. There's a lot to do today. Deep cleaning, packing up Ho Junfei's things, sending out packages. My best friend suggested that since I'm on leave now, she'd take me to nearby tourist spots to unwind and get some fresh air, so I can handle family matters in the best state of mind. I told her that my current state is just right, calmer than I've ever been. I know I can't rest. Once I rest, the memories of those 8 years, both good and bad, will devour me completely, leaving not even my bones behind. I have to stay busy. I must stay busy, so I chose to go to work. When my dog of a boss saw me show up at the office, he was so touched that in his excitement, he approved the lakeside office for me. Fine by me. In the afternoon, I received a call from an unfamiliar number on my phone. When I picked up, a familiar man's voice came through the line. "It's me." Ho Junfei's tone carried a hint of suppressed anger. "You sent my things to the school." "I got them." I picked up the watering can and watered the green plants on the windowsill. "Then please take inventory." Ho Junfei gritted his teeth. "I can't even get into the community garage today." "Was that you?" I smiled. "I bought the house and the parking space. I have the right to decide what to do with them." Ho Junfei was silent for a few seconds. "Xiao Xia, let's meet." "No need." I was about to hang up. "I'll settle the money and contact you later," Ho Junfei said directly. "I'm right downstairs at your company. If I don't see you, I'm not leaving." I glanced at my watch. "Fine, there's a meeting soon, so I can only give you 15 minutes. 14. Ho Junfei and I met at a small park near the company. He was wearing the camel-colored coat I bought him for the Lunar New Year. He clearly hadn't slept well. He looked haggard, his brow furrowed into a tight knot. The first thing he said when he saw me was to take me to task. "Can you please stop making a scene? You're a grown adult, doing nothing but childish, spiteful things." I quietly watched him. He strode over, grabbed my wrist, and said, "Come on, let's go home." I shook him off. "That's my home, not yours." Ho Junfei got angry. "What exactly do you want? Is this fun for you?" I smiled. "Isn't this what you wanted? You said on the phone last night you'd think about whether we're compatible in values and whether we should get married. Let me tell you, Ho Junfei, there's no way in hell I'm apologizing to Su Li. So there's no need for us to get married." Ho Junfei closed his eyes, pressed his lips together, and took a few deep breaths. He opened his eyes and, out of habit, reached up to stroke my hair. I stepped back, avoiding his touch. "Xia." Ho Junfei sighed. "I admit, I wasn't thinking clearly yesterday. I was wrong too. I shouldn't have brought my fellow townsmen home without letting you know. I'm sorry. If you don't want to apologize to Su Li, then forget it. She's an outsider after all. There's no need for us to end up like this over someone who's not family." Ho Junfei's eyes turned red, his voice even trembling with tears as he tried again to take my hand. "Xia, are you really giving up on me?" Once more, I pulled away from him. He simply rushed over and hugged me, holding me tightly. I'm sorry, Xia, truly sorry. You know I've always been on campus. I don't know how to navigate the world or how to talk to people. Please don't hold it against me. Can you really bear to leave me? Can you really bear to throw away all those years we've spent together? I admit, for a moment, I hesitated, but then I remembered the words he said before hanging up last night. You're insane. I knew that if I softened now and just let this slide, I'd be degrading myself, and I would look down on myself for the rest of my life. I pushed him away hard. You've studied for so many years, and you still can't do reading comprehension. I already made it clear to you on WeChat last night. We're breaking up. Not getting married. Do you understand? Ho Junfei was stunned for a moment, then anger flared across his face. I really think you're being unreasonable. Don't you see that? Once again, he tried to shift the blame onto me, launching into a litany of accusations. Xia, don't you have any friends or hometown folks of your own? Just because this is your apartment, you won't even let my hometown people in. Then what am I to you, your fiancé, or some kept boy toy you've been supporting? I know you've made a lot of money these past few years. You're so impressive, so you look down on me. Just throw me out in the middle of the night. See, men know perfectly well that the problem lies with them, but they will never admit it. They will try to smear you, slander you, and pin all the blame on you in order to cover up their own mistakes. I quietly watched him vent. Ho Junfei spoke in an unpleasant tone. Why are you staring at me? Did I say something wrong? I glanced at my watch. There were only 2 minutes left. Ho Junfei, I make more money than you. Did that strike a nerve? All these years you've been studying, I covered 80% of the household expenses. If that doesn't make you a kept man, what does? No, a kept man at least performs well and is obedient. You're not that. You're someone who eats soft rice but acts tough. Ho Junfei was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, completely bristling. The hell did you just say? I let out a scoff, crossing my arms over my chest. That said, if you think I'm angry and making a scene just because you brought your hometown folks home, you're seriously underestimating me. Back when we were renting a place outside, you brought your uncle, your buddies, your sick relatives over. Did I ever not do my best? Didn't I always save face for you? So why do I have it in for Suli and her father, Ho Junfei? Do I really have to read out loud what you've posted on your alt Weibo account before you stop being so stubborn, since you met the girl you want to take care of for life before our wedding? Then go ahead and take care of her properly. Why sneak around and bring her here? A flash of panic crossed Ho Junfei's face, and he scrambled to explain. Xia, you must have gotten the wrong idea about something. I never had any secret Weibo account. Suli and I are completely innocent. There's really nothing between us. How could you think that of me? I just see her as a little sister. She's preparing for grad school and occasionally asks me for advice, that's all. I pointed at my watch, told him time was up, and turned to walk toward the office. Ho Junfei followed closely, grabbing my arm and rambling on with explanations. I told him if he kept following or touching me, I'd have security drag him away. Then, I'd send every one of his lab mates and professors an embarrassing photo of him. Everyone. Ho Junfei didn't dare touch me again. I knew he hadn't left. He was right behind me, but I didn't look back. 15. Over the next few days, Ho Junfei realized I wasn't just upset with him. I truly wanted to break off the engagement and end things. He came looking for me several times, but I refused to see him. The property manager called me, saying that Ho Junfei had been loitering around the building, and on one occasion, he had even waited drunkenly until after 2 in the morning. The property manager suggested that I try to communicate properly. As young couples are bound to have arguments, I reiterated that I have no relationship whatsoever with Ho Junfei and hinted to the property manager that the guy might have some mental issues. I also suggested that it would be best to have him removed from the premises. Otherwise, if any other resident's safety was threatened, he wouldn't be able to bear the responsibility. Ho Junfei, having failed to get anywhere at the complex and unable to reach me, came up with a new tactic. He mobilized our mutual friends to mediate on his behalf, and even approached my boss to help arrange a dinner party to clear up the misunderstanding. My boss is an old hand at office politics. He agreed in words, but never once followed up with me. He only mentioned in passing that if I had any family issues recently, I could take a few days off. No need. On the 4th day after my fallout with Ho Junfei, I received a call from Suli. The young woman suggested we meet, saying she had some personal grievances to settle with me. Personal grievances, interesting. 16. She chose the venue, a Hui Cuisine Restaurant. This place is a chain restaurant with small portions and high prices, which isn't cost-effective for Suli right now. Clearly, she's trying to save face. When I walked in, Suli was already waiting in the small private room. She had her hair tied in a low bun and wore light makeup. Her jacket was draped over the chair. She had on a white wool base layer and a long coffee-colored skirt, giving her a cultured, pure look. Very much the image of a good girl. Seeing me arrive, Suli immediately stood up. "Miss Chow, long time no see." As she said this, her expression was calm, neither humble nor pushy. I sat down across from Suli without ceremony and glanced at my phone. "If you have something to say, Miss Sue, just say it." Suli picked up the teapot and poured me a glass of water. "What, is Mr. Chow very busy?" I raised an eyebrow. "Of course, my time is billed by the minute. The more I waste on unworthy people and matters, the greater the loss." Suli clearly caught the sarcasm. At her age, girls can't hide much. Every emotion shows on their faces. "So you think Senior is unworthy too? Is that why you've been refusing to see him these past few days?" I leaned lazily back in my chair, gave Suli an appraising once-over, and let out a mocking laugh. "What's it to you? Sounds like you're calling me to account." "Interesting." Suli glared at me. "Of course it's something to me. If it weren't for helping me and my father, Senior never would have crossed you." I neither confirmed nor denied it. Tapping my fingers on the table, Suli frowned, her delicate brows knitting together. "I heard you and the Senior are breaking up over this. He's been feeling down and suffering a lot these past few days. He's a kind person. He knows the root cause lies with my father and me, but he's never blamed us." I nodded, and then, Suli placed both hands on the dining table. "If Mr. Chow is breaking up with the Senior over this, I won't be able to find peace of mind." She stood up and bent slightly at the waist. "I apologize to you." I glanced at the dishes on the table. "So the apology is treating me to a meal." Suli straightened her back. "My father and I took turns staying in your wedding house for 3 days, using your kitchenware. Treating you to a meal is my way of repaying some of that kindness." With that, she picked up the backpack placed on the chair, took out an envelope, and slid it toward me. "There's 1,000 yuan inside." The girl's eyes were full of pride and defiance. "Based on the price of a standard room at an outside chain hotel, here's 3 days worth of rent. We'll owe each other nothing from now on." I glanced at the envelope and shook my head with a scornful smile. Suli picked up her jacket and bag, turned, and walked away, tossing me a cold remark. "I've already paid the bill. Please enjoy your meal." "Stop." I took a sip of tea. "Did I say you could leave?" Suli raised her chin proudly. "What's the matter, Mr. Chow?" 17. I gestured for her to sit down. Suli didn't move an inch. She stood squarely across from me, arms crossed, staring at me coldly. I let out a scoff. "With a clueless brat of a daughter like you, I can't tell if your parents are blessed or cursed." Suli slammed her fist on the table, neck stiff and voice sharp. "So what if you've made a bit of money? Quit pretending. Truly wealthy people are classy and gentle, unlike you, a complete shrew." Suli's chest heaved with rage, her eyes turning red. "Time changes everything, Xiao Xia. Just wait and see." I couldn't help but laugh. "See what?" She shot me a disdainful look. "I'm younger than you, so I'll have more opportunities in the future. I'll definitely make more money than you." I couldn't help but clap. "Ambitious. I hope you get what you wish for." Suli sneered. "Keep your eyes wide open and wait." I picked up the envelope, weighed it in my hand, and tossed it over to Suli. "Your mom has cancer, and it's exactly the time when money is needed most. Your dad couldn't bear to stay in a hotel, so he swallows his pride, puts on a smiling face in front of the younger generation, and saves money by crashing at other people's places. But you, just to apologize to me, not only spend a few $100 on a meal but also covered my accommodation." I clicked my tongue. "Seems like your mom's illness still isn't serious enough for you." "No, actually, your mom is far less important than your pitiful self-esteem." "I called you stupid. Was I wrong?" Suli broke down. Tears started falling, pattering down as she pointed at me. "Shut up. Don't drag my mom into whatever's between us. If you say one more word cursing my mom, I'll fight you to the death." I raised an eyebrow. "Fine, I won't mention your poor mom. Then let's talk about you." Suli gritted her teeth. "What about me?" I looked at her. "Do you even have a sense of boundaries?" Suli snapped. "How do I not have boundaries? Did I steal your man? Which one of your eyes saw that?" I took a few sheets of printed paper from my bag and threw them at Suli. On the paper was unmistakably the footage captured by the security camera at my doorstep. Ho Junfei, carrying 2 large bags of groceries, walking toward the house with Suli, chatting and laughing. Suli let out a cold laugh, tore the printout to shreds, and threw it back at me. Don't slander me, Senior and I are completely innocent. He's a good person. He knows my family has been struggling lately, so he's just helping me out. I brushed the shredded paper off my clothes. There are plenty of pitiful people in this world. If he's so kind, why doesn't he help all his other juniors? Why just you, Suli? That's because I cut her off. That's because you, little white lotus, realized he has a soft spot for you, and you've been shamelessly using him. Suli's face flushed red. You're lying. I pulled a few more pages of printed photos from my bag and threw them at Suli. For months ago, when you came to him late at night for math help, do you know what we were doing? Having sex. You interrupted us. 3 months ago, he stayed up all night, researching and helping you write your little paper. Back to the question I just asked. You knew he was about to get married, yet you still had no sense of boundaries when you sought him out, ordered him around, and even brought your family over to take advantage of him. Suli, he's dirty, and you're cheap. Suli angrily grabbed a water glass. I looked at her calmly, waiting for her to throw it. Suli didn't dare after all. She slammed the glass down on the table and raised her brows smugly. I didn't even have to ask. Senior automatically helped me. What can I do? Blame yourself for being older, for losing your appeal to him. I couldn't help but laugh. Little girl, using age to attack a woman is the lowest of the low. Fine then, I wish you were forever 20 years old, Suli said with arrogant pride. I'm still younger than you. I leisurely finished the last sip of tea. I heard you did quite well on your postgraduate entrance exam. Congratulations. Suli's smile froze. What do you mean by that? I tilted my chin toward the printed papers on the table. I'll take this evidence to the admissions office. No, I'll come on the day of your re-examination and have a chat with your interview panel. We'll talk about how you stayed up late having late-night chats with Dr. Ho Junfei and caused his 8-year relationship with Xiaoxia to fall apart. You wouldn't dare. Suli panicked, trembling all over, the veins on her forehead bulging. If you ruin my chances, I'll jump off a building. She pulled out her phone, which had been recording the conversation, from her bag, breathing heavily. But before I die, I'll let the world know it was you who drove me to it. I looked at her coldly, making a big scene over something this small. That's all the backbone you've got. With that, I also took out my own phone from my bag, which had been recording, and waved it. You think you're the only one clever enough to record things in advance. What, you think I've been wasting my years out in the world? I stood up. Suli, go back and listen to the recording carefully, replay it and tell me exactly what I forced you to do. Was every word I said not the truth? I'm the victim here. Suli looked as if all her strength had been drained, tears streaming down her face. I picked up my bag and got ready to leave. Just as I stepped out the door, Suli suddenly spoke. Xiaoxia, you know what? Back then, I wasn't feeling well. To cheer me up, my senior drove over 300 kilometers to my hometown county, stopped at my old high school gate, and bought me the donkey burger I love. I frowned. What are you trying to say? Suli, tears in her eyes, gave a provocative smile. You were so good to him, and what did he ever give you in return? I didn't have to do a thing. And he went out of his way to solve my problems. Xiaoxia, he doesn't love you anymore. Marrying you was just his way of making amends after sleeping with you for 8 years, to give you and your family some closure. My heart felt as if something had pricked it. After a few seconds, I turned back to look at Suli and smiled. I don't want this piece of trash anymore. If you like it, feel free to recycle it. And, little sister, study hard for your retest. See you then. Seeing Suli's angry, defeated face lifted my spirits. I walked away with long, confident strides. 18. Back in the car, the moment I closed the door, the noise of the busy street was shut out. What did Suli just say? Ho Junfei once drove over 300 kilometers to her hometown county just to buy her donkey burger. I remembered one afternoon about half a year ago when I texted Ho Junfei, and he didn't reply for a long time, so I video called him. He answered right away. It turned out he was driving alone on the highway. He complained on the phone that his advisor had given him a private errand, to deliver a hard drive to County B. I was worried he might have an accident while driving, so I told him to be careful and quickly hung up. At the time, I didn't suspect anything. Looking back now, it truly echoes that line from the song. Between him and Suli, there were so many things I didn't know. Restless, every single cell in my body was rebelling. I took out my phone and dialed Ho Junfei's number. ready to confront him, to curse him out, to run over that lying bastard. The phone rang. It was my best friend calling. Hey, Shasha. Weren't you meeting that little white lotus today? Are you done? I hummed in reply. Yeah, it's over. I turned around and fished half a pack of cigarettes and a lighter out of my bag. My best friend had left them at my place last time, and I never had the chance to return them. I don't usually smoke, but right now, I desperately need some nicotine to calm my nerves. I lit the cigarette, took a deep drag, and the smoke made me cough harshly. What's wrong? My best friend asked with concern. Are you smoking? I heard the lighter. Ha. Looks like that little drama queen really got under your skin. I held the cigarette between my fingers, one hand on the steering wheel. After a moment, when I had calmed down a bit, I gave her a quick rundown of what had just happened in the private room. I sighed. Even though I was putting her down at every turn and coming out on top today, I still kind of feel like I lost. My best friend teased. Did you offload that garbage onto her? I smiled but didn't say anything. My best friend asked. This girl is getting pretty arrogant. Should we teach her a lesson? I rubbed my throbbing temples and turned to look outside, but unexpectedly, I saw Sully standing by the bus stop not far away, crying on the phone with a pitiful expression, complaining to someone about who knows what. I stubbed out my cigarette and said to my best friend, let's just see how it goes. My friend seemed to remember something. Oh right, Shasha, Ho Junfei has been asking to see me these past few days, begging me to mediate, and he's arranged a dinner party tomorrow, where he plans to propose to you again in front of family and friends. He asked us to keep it absolutely secret. What's wrong with him? Flirting with some young girl on the one hand, and clinging to you relentlessly on the other. I gave a cold laugh and watched as Sully got on the bus. My friend said worriedly, it's 8 years of feelings after all. I'm afraid you might go soft. I started the car, signaled, and pulled out of the parking space. He secretly brought my mom from our hometown. Thinking I didn't know. You come tomorrow too. If I do go soft, just slap me awake. Twice. 19. The next morning, I was woken up by a call from my mom. She said she was coming to see me, and after getting off the train, she went to the mall to buy some daily necessities for me, but ended up getting lost. She sent me an address and asked me to come pick her up. I washed up, put on some makeup, and headed out in my car. As soon as I parked, I saw my mom and Ho Junfei standing by the roadside. Ho Junfei was dressed in a suit, looking clean and handsome, holding a bouquet of red roses. He looked every bit the perfect son-in-law, politely chatting with my mom while glancing around. Then he spotted my car and quickly hurried over. Xia. Ho Junfei took the initiative to open the car door for me, his eyes burning as he looked at me, and handed me a bouquet of red roses with both hands. Today marks the 8th anniversary of the day we met. I didn't take the flowers. I looked at him coldly and said, didn't we agree to handle our own matters? Why did you bring my mother into this? Ho Junfei's eyes turned red, almost pleading. Please don't be mad, okay? Just then, my mother also walked up to us. She rubbed my arm, glanced at me, then at Ho Junfei, tears streaming down her aged face. You two have been together for so many years. Look how perfect you look standing side by side. If it weren't for Xia's father passing away from illness a few years ago, you would have gotten married long ago. Good child, life is long, hard times are bound to happen along the way. As long as you have each other in your hearts, nothing is insurmountable. Xia, I know how deep your feelings for Junfei truly are. Have you forgotten the year he got a concussion from being beaten up for you? If he didn't truly like you, why would he have stood up for you, defended you? I felt agitated inside. Ho Junfei is really good at brainwashing people, and my mom is the type who loves lurking in live streams to buy health supplements. Sure enough, my mom took my hand, placed it in Ho Junfei's, and pressed our hands tightly together. Xia, Junfei promised me that if he ever lets you suffer again, I have his permission to beat him to death. I tried hard to pull my hand back. Ho Junfei held on tight, looking at me pitifully. Honey, give me one more chance. I frowned. Let go. Ho Junfei only held on tighter. I invited my parents, our mutual friends, and your company's Director Lee. My voice rose. What? Why did you bring Director Lee here? Isn't this embarrassing enough? Actually, yesterday afternoon, Director Lee had called me in advance to say that Ho Junfei had cornered him in the company's underground garage and sincerely asked him to spare some time. Ho Junfei said he wanted to propose again and asked Director Lee to be a witness. Director Lee asked for my opinion. I gave a cold laugh and said there was no need to go. It was just that kid pudding on a show. Director Lee said he loved a good show and wanted to go. So speechless. What else can I do? They've even dragged my boss into this. If I don't go, who's going to pay my salary? 20. Ho Junfei booked a small banquet hall. The hall was specially decorated, with roses and pink balloons. There weren't many people, his parents, my mom, my brother and sister-in-law, for mutual friends, and then my boss. As soon as I walked in, I saw my brother cheerfully greeting the guests. My brother is the very picture of a typical northern man, big-built and loud-voiced. Uncle, auntie, please have a seat. Would you like something to drink? Make yourselves at home. Ho's parents, one a teacher, the other working at the Bureau of Education, pride themselves on being a family of scholars. They are quite traditional and conservative, and have little regard for my brother, who dropped out of high school to work. Of course, they also look down on me, coming from a sales background. They think I, a girl from a third-tier private college, am not worthy of their son. A PhD graduate from a prestigious university. After we started dating, Ho Junfei took me to meet his family. His mother once asked me, rather bluntly, whether my job required me to drink with clients. She suggested that I shouldn't wear too much perfume and that my skirt should be below the knee, otherwise, it would be improper. At that moment, faced with my brother's warm hospitality, they nodded and smiled politely, exchanging glances back and forth to silently express their disdain for him. After attending to Ho's parents, my brother went to greet my boss, holding the teapot with both hands. He poured tea for Mr. Lee. You must be Mr. Lee. Oh, my sister talks about you all the time, says you're amazing. Thank you so much for all your guidance over the years. Mr. Lee patted my brother on the arm and joked, well, I see you're even more eloquent than your sister, interested in coming to work at our company. My brother went along with it and said, that couldn't be better, just. Then, seeing us come in, my best friend stood up and waved. Auntie, Shashia, you're here. I smiled and nodded, then looked at my brother. My brother gave me a slight nod and a wink. Actually, the night before last, my brother had called me and said that Ho Junfei had driven to our house, most likely hoping to ask my family to persuade me to get back together with him. My brother asked me what I thought. I said, since he's asking you to come, then you should come. After all, calling off the engagement will require both families to sit down and talk anyway, so this is also an opportunity. I helped my mom take a seat, right next to my best friend. No sooner had I sat down than I felt an unfriendly gaze from my soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law. She shot me dagger after dagger. When I didn't respond or greet her, she angrily tossed the napkin onto the table and muttered under her breath, so ill-mannered, yeah, I heard that. My mom, on the other hand, was all smiles. She leaned in slightly and struck up a conversation. My dear in-laws, what time did you arrive today? Ho's mother replied in a sarcastic tone, what time we arrived, that's up to Xiaoxia, isn't it? Ho's father secretly tugged at her and shook his head, signaling her to be patient. I let out a cold laugh. My bestie leaned in, cupped her hand by her mouth, and muttered, your ex-mother-in-law just now was going on in front of your boss about how her son is a 985 PhD graduate, so amazing and impressive. She even asked your boss how well you're doing at work and how much you earn. I quickly asked, what did Mr. Lee say? My bestie couldn't help but laugh. What did he say? Your boss is way too sharp. After chatting for a while, he ended up getting her to reveal how much her pension is and how much money she and her husband have left in their bank account after paying for your house renovation. It took her a moment to realize what happened. Her face turned red, then she started muttering that business people are too calculating. I burst out laughing. For once, my ruthless boss actually came through. Suddenly, the lights dimmed in the reception hall, and soft music began to play. 21 on the big screen, photos of me and Ho Junfei appeared. That was a group photo of us from back when we first met at an exam prep institution for graduate school and government jobs. I don't know how to do makeup, and his clothes are plain, but there's light in both of our eyes. Just then, the speakers started playing The Wind Rises. Ho Junfei's close friend and roommate, Dai Xiaofeng, was holding a microphone and singing. Ho Junfei, holding a bouquet of roses in his hands, slowly walked up to the stage with the microphone in hand. He first bowed and said, thank you all, my dearest family and friends, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here and witness the happiness between Shashia and me. After saying that, he looked at me affectionately. In 2015, Shashia and I first met at the Entrance of a university. In the blink of an eye, 8 years have passed. Next, several travel photos appeared on the screen. I was wearing a life jacket, sitting in an inflatable boat. The current was strong, and I was so scared that I screamed. Ho Junfei held a paddle in one hand and wrapped the other tightly around me. With a blissful look on his face, Ho Junfei said, "This was the first trip Xia and I took together. We both fell into the water that day. That night, Xia ran a high fever, and I carried her on my back to the hospital in the middle of the night. Yeah, at that time, I explicitly told him that I almost drowned as a child and was terrified of water. He told me to face my fears and dragged me onto the boat." On the screen, a few more photos appeared, us hugging and kissing, as well as a group photo of us together at the entrance of University A. Ho Junfei's eyes had already reddened. Back then, I was planning to take the entrance exam for University A, so I rented a place nearby and went to the school study lounge every day to review. The first year, I didn't even pass the national minimum score line. Xia encouraged me to try again. The day before the exam results came out, we both waited anxiously by the computer. When the time came, my hands were shaking from nervousness. In the end, she checked the results for me. The score was very high. She hugged me and congratulated me. I told her that half of this achievement belongs to her. It was her support and encouragement that helped me realize my dream. In the past, my dream was University A, but now, my dream is Xia. I want to take care of her for the rest of my life and grow old together with her. My mom had already cried her heart out, and a few of our old friends had tears in their eyes as well. Over 2 rounds of exam preparation, he only mentioned the glory and joy of getting in, never how he was under immense pressure, often losing control and feeling despondent. I tried every way to comfort him and ease his gloom, worried that takeout food wasn't nutritious enough. I quit my job during the final sprint and cooked for him every single day for 2 full months after he got admitted. I also helped him gather all kinds of information. The year of the purest love was also the year of the purest foolishness. My best friend elbowed me, made a gagging face, and whispered, "He's being dramatic enough, trying to soften you up by reminiscing about the past." Huh, I lowered my head and stared at my bare ring finger. "Yesterday, weren't you curious why Ho Junfei is flirting with other girls while still hounding me relentlessly?" my friend asked. "Why?" I smiled weakly. "Because I'm his best option. When a man has a magnificent red rose who can do anything, it doesn't stop him from thinking about the white moonlight in his heart, but he also knows that no matter how much he likes the white moonlight, she can't replace the vanity of face, the comfortable life, and the daily care that the red rose brings him." Too naive, he was talking about him, and also about me. Just then, Ho Junfei, holding a bouquet of roses and down on one knee, gazed deeply at me and said, "Xia, marry me. I swear, if I ever break your heart or betray you, I'll kill myself before you even have to say a word." His 2 good buddies chimed in, marry him, Monkey really loves you to death. He hasn't slept for 2 days and nights just to prepare today's proposal. Don't worry, Xia, if Monkey dares to do anything to hurt you after marriage, we brothers will help you take him down." Our eyes met. I could see a kind of nearly desperate depth of affection in Ho Junfei's eyes, but not long ago, from that very same mouth full of sweet words, the words mental case had also been spoken. A good actor is utterly cold-hearted. 22. I stood up. My best friend immediately grabbed my wrist. I smiled at her, walked onto the stage, and stood in front of Ho Junfei. He cooperatively held the roses higher, his handsome face deceptively gentle, looking at me with tear-filled eyes. "Xia, I love you." He sure does love me. In a state of near rupture, he went behind my back to bring my family, friends, and boss here, thinking that because I'd be afraid of losing face in front of everyone, I would forgive him again. Just like before, I bent down and helped him up. "Get up first." Ho Junfei moved to embrace me. Applause came from below. I took the roses, pressed my hand against his chest, and said, "Can I say a few words as well?" Ho Junfei, thinking I had given in, visibly relaxed and stepped aside. I turned my head and glanced at my brother. Understanding my cue, he came over, put an arm around Ho Junfei, raised his fist as if to punch him, but only gave him a light tap and joked, "Brother-in-law, if you ever treat my sister badly, I'll beat you into a pulp." Ho Junfei chuckled. "Don't worry, big brother. I'll always take good care of Xia." I walked over to the laptop connected to the big screen, pulled a USB drive from my pocket, and plugged it in. "Thank you, friends and family, for coming to witness our happiness." I bowed and looked toward Ho Junfei, who wasn't far away. "Thank you, Junfei. I'm really touched. I opened a folder on the USB drive, and a photo appeared on the big screen. I was lying on the bed in my pajamas, with Ho Junfei beside me, holding a bowl and blowing on the soup. Thank you for using frozen chicken legs to make me that bowl of utterly nutritious, delicious soup after my miscarriage. With a click of the mouse, the next set of photos appeared. Ho Junfei on a video call with Su Li. Ho Junfei bringing Su Li into the wedding house. Thank you for putting me to sleep, then staying up late to tutor your junior in school. Thank you for letting your kindness run wild while I was away on a business trip, and bringing that younger female schoolmate into our wedding house. Thank you for forcing me to apologize to that younger female schoolmate. Thank you for bestowing upon me the beautiful title of psycho after I explicitly refused. Ho Junfei rushed over anxiously, never expecting me to be so unseemly, but then my eldest brother grabbed hold of him, leaving him completely unable to move. I played a clip of edited audio, and from the speakers came Su Li's smug and provocative voice. Xiaoxia, you know what? Back then, I was in a bad mood. To cheer me up, your fiancé drove over 300 kilometers to my hometown county, stopped at the entrance of my old high school, and bought me my favorite donkey meat burger. Xiaoxia, he doesn't love you anymore. My mom was the first to react. She looked utterly incredulous, then her face turned to anger. Junfei, YUV had an affair. Ho Junfei turned pale. He wanted to explain, but for a moment didn't know where to start. He looked at me, his gaze complex: anger, irritation, panic, embarrassment. In the end, he could only plead, Xiaoxia, please stop, okay? I let out a cold laugh. Why should I stop? Since all our friends and family are here today, I won't need to explain and relay it to them one by one later. All the pent-up frustration buried in my memory came bursting out. I hurled the roses at him. Get the hell out of my sight, as far away as possible, and for the record, you're the crazy one. Your whole damn family is crazy, you pathetic, spineless mama's boy. Ho Junfei was still floundering. Xiaoxia, you've got it all wrong. I didn't do anything. Su Li and I are completely innocent. You're slandering me. I hovered my mouse over a dark, grainy video, then looked at him with a raised eyebrow and a smirk. Shall I play the video of you jerking off to Su Li's photo for everyone? Ho Junfei's eyes were bloodshot, as if he'd been drinking. No, please don't. I laughed out of sheer exasperation. Ho Junfei, I was only bluffing. I never thought you'd actually have done something like that. Ho Junfei froze, his face turning ashen. Then, suddenly breaking free from my brother's hold, he lunged at me like a madman. The moment his hands touched me, I let myself fall backward, my whole body slamming against the wall with a thud. You're hitting me. I looked at him in faint horror. Ho Junfei's chest heaved with anger. I did not. Don't talk nonsense. With that, he reached for the USB drive. I pointed at him. You did hit me. Everyone saw it. The next second, I rushed forward to grab the USB drive. What are you afraid of? Dr. Ho, let everyone keep watching. Ho Junfei pushed me away, using his height advantage to lightly shove my face aside. I covered my face and screamed, you hit me again. Then, I grabbed him and threw him over my shoulder in a perfect judo flip. Right after, I straddled him, raised my hand, and slapped him hard across the face. Once, twice, 3 times. Thank you, Ho Junfei. Back then, afraid you'd get hurt again because of me, I swore to become stronger. I immediately signed up for judo and kickboxing classes. Feels good now, doesn't it, Ho Junfei? A commotion broke out in the small banquet hall. Ho's mother rushed over, pounding me with her fists, cursing me as a shrew, and demanding that I let go of her son. My mother let out a yelp and charged as well, grabbing that woman by the hair and kicking her. The 2 women were going at each other, their screams deafening. My bestie rolled up her sleeves and jumped in to help my mom. Dad grabbed his small leather bag and rushed to save his wife. My brother spat and swore, damn. How dare you hit my mom? With that, he moved to join the fight, but my boss stopped him. My boss kept shaking his head and signaling with his eyes. It was chaos, total chaos. 23. In the end, this romance novel that began with a marriage proposal ended up in a police station with a bad ending. Ho Junfei's mother's face was completely scratched up, and she's planning to sue us. My mom, who has always hated mistresses and unfaithful men more than anything, put her hands on her hips and said, go ahead and sue. I'll fight this to the end, and not only that, but whenever your kid has any major event in the future, I'll be there to give a speech telling everyone exactly what kind of person he is. The 2 women started another fight right there in the police station. No one could stop them, just no stopping them at all. In the end, my shady boss produced a video of Ho Junfei shoving me, pushing my face, and beating me to the ground. proving that I was acting in self-defense. There's still taking statements inside. Ho Junfei and I are sitting on the chairs outside. He said nothing, and I kept silent. My slap had turned his face into a swollen mess. His suit jacket hung over his arm, his white shirt was crumpled, and 2 buttons were missing. My hair was a mess, and one of my heels had broken off. He took out a cigarette from his trouser pocket, lit it, and took a drag. Then he pulled out his phone and started deleting photos of us. One by one, I called the wedding planning company to cancel our contract and messaged the bridal shop saying I no longer wanted the other set of wedding photos we had taken. I added that I was willing to pay extra, but all the original files had to be destroyed. Just then, a police officer carrying a stack of documents walked over and frowned at Ho Junfei. No smoking here. Ho Junfei nodded repeatedly, pinched out the cigarette with his bare fingers, stood up, and tossed it into the trash bin. With his back to me, he suddenly let out a laugh and said coldly, "You'll never be as good as Suli." I said oh, and tucked my hair behind my ear. Is it because she can accept that you can only last 10 minutes each time? Yeah, I really can't compete with that. Ho Junfei turned around and glared at me. I raised an eyebrow at him and gave a charming smile. Just then, quite a few people came out of the mediation room up ahead. Ho Junfei's mother had visible injuries on her face. She walked over to her son, shot me a venomous look, and spat. "Let's go, son, you're handsome, well-educated. Next time, find a proper, untouched girl and live a good life." My best friend let out a scoff, walking toward me with her newly bought shoes in hand. As she passed the mother and son, she snidely remarked, "With a mother like you, there's no way he can live a good life." It looked like another verbal battle was about to break out. Suddenly, my shady boss, who had been talking to the police, snapped his fingers at me. "Joe, you're done with your business, I'm heading off now." As he spoke, the unscrupulous boss suddenly seemed to remember something. "Mr. Song from Tianjin Group has always had a crush on you. That young man is just over 30, worth over 100 million, and a Harvard PhD. Before, he didn't dare make a move because you were engaged. Shower, if you're willing, I'll arrange a dinner gathering." There was no Tianjin Group or Mr. Song at all. I knew it. The unscrupulous boss was just saving face for me. I flashed him an okay sign. "Sounds good, Mr. Lee." The boss waved his hand. "I'll head off then. Call me if anything comes up." "Okay, thank you so much, master." I rubbed my burning eyes, put on my new shoes, and left the place with my best friend. Ho Junfei went in the opposite direction with his mother, like 2 arrows shot from a bow. There is no turning back. 24. I sold the marital home. When it came time to divide the property between Ho Junfei and me, there were expected disputes, but in the end we managed to settle things fairly clearly. Ho Junfei wanted to get it over with quickly, implying that we could leave behind the appliances his family had bought. His mother disagreed. Having paid real money for them, she insisted that even a small charger had to be taken away. On the day of moving the appliances, his parents specially asked Suli to come help with the inventory. I had a company meeting and couldn't get away. My mom and sister-in-law were at home, checklist in hand, making sure they didn't take so much as an extra wire. I went on a business trip at the end of the month. At the airport, it suddenly hit me that today might be the day Suli had her second round interview. Would you just let it go? Treat the woman who forced her way into your love life like a passing fart, look down on her, refuse to stoop to her level, forget the past, and move on. I think I will someday, but not now. So before boarding the plane, I sent Suli a text message. "You have your retake today, right? Have you found a supervisor yet? Are you fully prepared? Want Sister Chia to come cheer you on in person?" I turned off my phone after sending it. Then I boarded the plane, put on my sleep mask, and went to sleep. 2 hours later, the plane landed. I got into a prearranged business van and turned on my phone. Apart from some work messages and emails, there were 2 missed calls from Suli, along with several text messages from her. I ignored them, checked into the hotel first, and then had a brief meeting with the team. I didn't check Suli's text messages until it was time for dinner. "If there's something to talk about, we'll do it face to face after I'm done. You and that senior have already broken up. Don't you think it's too much to keep pushing this? I'm begging you. I've been preparing for the grad school entrance exam since my junior year. This means everything to me, more than my own life." The latest message, sent 30 minutes ago. "Xiao Xia, you're ruthless." I took a sip of soup. "Seems like The re-examine interview is over, and it didn't go very well. After that last meeting, I had more or less figured out Su Li's personality, sensitive yet proud, stubborn yet fragile, with a bit of cleverness, but life has been too smooth for her, and she lacks experience, like a fine vase, placed on display, proud and beautiful, yet fragile enough to shatter at the slightest touch. I smiled and sent her a text message. I was on a business trip, just got off the plane. How did your second round interview go? She's playing the innocent, isn't she? Two can play that game. A moment later, Su Li replied, Xiao Xia, since you're so eager for me and my senior to be together, so be it. He's keeping me company right now, and tonight, we'll have a wonderful evening. Now that you've broken up with him, I hope you'll stop bothering him, and me. I blocked her without a second thought and didn't respond further. I hope she truly likes her senior, rather than acting out of spite, but it's no longer any of my business. 25. During the time I was dealing with the broken engagement and breakup, I thought staying busy was a good thing. Staying busy helped me forget everything and made me feel calmer. Now that it's all settled, I've suddenly entered a kind of withdrawal period. I moved to a new place. One night when I came home, I turned on the light and the first thing I said was, Junfei, I'm back. There was no response. I stood there blankly for a few seconds before realizing I was the only one in the apartment. Another time, around 5 in the afternoon, I took out my phone, scrolled through WeChat to find that person's profile, and asked, what are we eating today? After scrolling for a long time, I couldn't find a familiar profile picture. Then it suddenly hit me, we had already broken up. Habits, especially those formed over 8 years, are terrifying things. I must start building new habits, watching a movie alone, cooking alone, taking a walk alone, being alone at home. Sometimes I feel like slapping myself. Xiao Xia, aren't you pathetic? He's hurt you like this, and you still love him, still think about him later. I gradually came to understand, it's not that I still love this jerk, it's that I love the version of myself in that relationship. Later on, that shady boss of mine actually introduced me to some quality guys. I wasn't against meeting them, I saw two, but neither was quite right. My best friend also said the best way to get over a relationship is to throw yourself into the next one. She told me not to bury myself in work all the time, but to get outdoors more, meet more people. Unknowingly, 3 months had already passed. After work, I called my best friend. Did you get the bag? I asked while driving. She was clearly over the moon. How did you know I've been eyeing this Miu Miu bag? I love you so much. I really love it. I smiled. Glad you like it. Wanna go hiking this weekend? She hesitated. Well, I'm going to a farm stay with my husband this weekend. I felt a little disappointed but still said with a smile, have fun then, gotta go. I'm driving. Wait, my best friend quickly stopped me. Remember the guy I introduced you to the other day? Meet him this weekend. He's a cop, usually swamped with work, so time off is rare. The light turned green, and I stepped on the gas. Forget it, I said, signaling as I turned onto another street. If I don't go hiking this weekend, I'll head back to my mom's place and stay with her for a couple of days. I haven't seen her in a while. My friend mumbled for a bit. Don't hit me when I tell you this, but I already made plans with him. Huh? I was taken aback. What do you mean you made plans? Who is this guy? She was clearly excited. He's the one I tried to set you up with 2 years ago. He's a distant relative on my husband's side, great family background, super handsome, 6'1", and a 20-pack abs. I couldn't help but laugh. A 20-pack? That's not abs, that's a washboard. She laughed too. You get the idea. And here's the kicker, back then, you got back together with Ho Junfei, so you never met him. He later dated someone else, just like you two did, met each other's parents, even got engaged, then she dumped him. I frowned. Don't tell me he's another jerk who did something to wrong the woman. My best friend clicked her tongue. You're really traumatized by Ho Junfei. Just because he was a jerk doesn't mean all men are. My husband told me the woman was the one with issues. She broke up with him unilaterally. I gave an indifferent oh, not really caring about this person's story, and pulled the car over by the roadside to head to the gym. Just as I unbuckled my seatbelt, my best friend said, then it's settled. I just messaged him saying you're free this weekend. It dawned on me, since when am I free? I don't even know what he looks like or what his name is. My best friend slapped her forehead. Silly me. His name is Lu Xiao. Ding, a photo came through. I clicked to open it. It was an ID photo. He really is quite handsome. Most People send heavily edited and beautified photos to their blind dates, but he sent an ID photo, quite a unique personality, 26 to be honest. I didn't really want to go. I thought of all kinds of excuses and finally told my best friend that I had a stomach ache and might need to go to the hospital for an IV drip. She saw right through me in a second. Stop making things up. We've already arranged everything. If you're not coming, then I'll bring him to the hospital to keep you company while you get your IV. Damn it, what else can I do? Might as well go. I put on some light makeup, wore a decent looking dress, and drove over. I arrived right on time, not a minute early or late actually. Finding that ID photo guy was pretty easy. The hot pot restaurant wasn't crowded, and everyone else seemed normal, except for the guy sitting in the northeast corner. He was wearing a black casual hoodie and had a habit of glancing around while looking at his phone. I narrowed my eyes and sized him up. He looked way better in person than in his photo, kind of like that viral traffic-heavy star these days, but in a tougher, more rugged version. He quickly spotted me, raised his hand, and snapped his fingers to signal that he was there. Kind of a turn-off. Wearing a smile, I walked over in my 10-centimeter stilettos. Hello. I extended my hand confidently. I'm Xiao Xia. The man stood up, so tall. My best friend said he was 187 meters, but he felt closer to 19 meters or more. He took my hand, polite and restrained. Hello, Lu Xiao. I glanced casually. His hands were large, with defined knuckles, long and elegant fingers, and visible veins on the back. They must be quite strong. Lu Xiao gestured with his chin toward the opposite seat. Please, have a seat. I sat down and had just put my bag aside. Lu Xiao said coldly, Miss Xiao, you're 3 minutes late. All right, I admit that. Before entering the store, I had stopped by the mall restaurant to touch up my makeup. I smiled and said, there was some traffic today, Lu Xiao. I checked the traffic. On your way from home to this mall, the road conditions were fine at this hour. How is this conversation supposed to go on? I wanted to leave. I gave a dry laugh and secretly set an alarm on my phone. Lu Xiao, who was sitting across from me, scanned the QR code to order and asked, what kind of hot pot base do you want? Whatever. I didn't plan to stay long. Then let's go with the half and half pot. Lu Xiao then asked, any allergies to certain dishes or meat? No. Lu Xiao quickly placed the order and poured me a glass of water. I ordered a few of my favorites. Miss Xiao, feel free to scan the code and add whatever you'd like. I smiled. No need. I'll eat whatever you order, Officer Lu. Just call me Lu Xiao. All right, Lu Xiao. A moment of silence, a bit awkward. Lu Xiao sat upright, quietly watching me. His gaze was calm and sharp, as if it could see right through people. Feeling a bit uneasy, I gave a soft cough. Mr. Lu, are you usually busy with work? Lu Xiao, yes. I asked casually. Busy with what? Lu Xiao, sorry, I can't disclose that. Another silence fell. I lit up my phone screen and checked the time. 8 minutes until the alarm went off. Just then, the server brought over the hot pot and the dishes. Lu Xiao adjusted the heat and asked me, do you want some dipping sauce? I said, no, thanks. Lu Xiao gave an O and used the serving chopsticks to stir the spicy side of the broth. He glanced at me and asked, Miss Xiao, who's in your family? I took a sip of water and said, my mother, my older brother and his wife, and my nephew. The hot pot heated up quickly. Lu Xiao added some ingredients and asked, I heard from Sister Xiaoyu that you and your ex-husband. I choked on some water and grabbed a napkin to cover my mouth as I coughed. I'm not married, sorry. Lu Xiao gave a stiff apology. You and your ex broke up. What was the reason? I was already quite upset. He cheated. Lu Xiao asked again, how did you find out? Can you describe it in detail? I organized the words in my head and was about to speak when I realized something was off. We'd only just met. Why should I tell him anything? Sorry, that's my private business. After saying that, I turned the tables on him. Mr. Lu, I'm not a criminal. I have no obligation to answer your questions. Lu Xiao smiled. It's just about getting to know each other, Miss Xiao. No need to take it too seriously. I took a deep breath. What about you, Mr. Lu? Xiaoyu mentioned that you and your ex-wife also split up. Whose fault was that? Lu Xiao's expression turned cold. First, ex-fiancé. Second, I'd rather not say. Damn, is it okay for me to lose my temper? When he asks me something, I answer. When I ask him something, he refuses. What a piece of work. Just then, my alarm went off. I pulled out my phone and pretended to answer it. Hello, Mr. Li. Oh, I'm out having dinner right now. That document is really urgent. Okay, I'll be right back. I grabbed my bag, gave Lu Xiao an apologetic shrug, and covered the phone to whisper, "Sorry, my boss needs me to work overtime." I'd barely taken a step when Lu Xiao let out a scornful laugh. "That was just your alarm, wasn't it?" Me, 27, I froze. Huh, awkward as hell. I could feel my face burning and my ears heating up, just like back in school when the homeroom teacher asked if I had brought my phone to class. I swore up and down that I hadn't, and then my phone rang. Lu Xiao glanced at my phone. "Your screen just lit up." I saw it. I raised an eyebrow and smiled, waving my phone. "Oops, you caught me. Want to know why?" Lu Xiao actually thought about it for 2 seconds. "You don't want to continue with the blind date." I snapped my fingers at him. "Yeah, nailed it. See ya." Lu Xiao picked up his chopsticks, fished a slice of fatty beef from the pot, and said, "All right, take your time." So, infuriating, without looking back, I left the restaurant and immediately called my best friend. "What kind of weirdo did you set me up with?" As I walked, I launched into my complaint. He grilled me like I was a criminal, digging into my background. Do I even know him that well? And he has zero emotional intelligence. I'm a girl, and since he knew I set an alarm because I didn't want to keep eating with him, why did he have to call it out? Who ended up feeling awkward? Him, obviously. What is his problem? My best friend quickly tried to comfort me. Sorry, my dear, you've been wronged. I'll have my husband scold him once we're home." I took a deep breath and said, "Forget it, I'm not going to lower myself to his level." She gave an apologetic smile. All right. Next time, I'll definitely set you up with someone gentle and refined." I put my hands on my hips. "There won't be a next time." After hanging up, I glanced at my watch. It was 5:30, still early. Going home meant just sitting around. Forget it, I'd go have a drink instead. 28. This lounge is membership-based, quiet, and has a nice atmosphere. I put on my Bluetooth headphones and got ready to watch a movie. This is one of my favorite activities during my withdrawal period. Have a few drinks, watch a movie, then go straight home and fall right asleep. I had just found a comedy when my phone suddenly vibrated. Someone requested to add me, with the note, "Sister Chow, I've got some gossip for you." This is my private account, so not many people have the number. I had nothing better to do, so I accepted the request. The person was clearly using a new account, no posts, and their profile picture was one of those generic landscape images. After a few minutes of waiting, nothing happened, so I ignored it, took a sip of my drink, and got ready to watch a movie. But then the other person sent me a few photos. When I opened them, they were screenshots of Ho Junfei's moments. The first one seemed to be a short, secretly recorded video, shot from far away and quite blurry, likely taken in a study room. Ho Junfei and Suli were sitting together. He kissed Suli, and Suli didn't dodge. The second photo showed Ho Junfei and Suli holding hands. Judging by the date, it was from over 3 months ago, and there was a caption, "Meeting you made me realize that fate has been kind to me. Let all the bad people and things drift away with the wind. I really like you, my girl." The third screenshot from her moments showed Suli in her graduation gown, leaning against Ho Junfei, with the caption, "Congratulations on graduating, my girl. For the rest of my life, it's only you." My stomach churned, and I felt like throwing up, so I quickly downed half a glass of wine to settle it. Just then, the whistleblower sent me a message. "Hey there, Chow. Don't get me wrong, I'm no Dr. So-and-so, and definitely not that little homewrecker. I'm just a bystander, actually. I've wanted to say a few things to you for a while, but never had the chance. Recently, when I saw that Dr. So successfully proposed to his new girlfriend, I couldn't hold back anymore. First of all, Chow, congratulations on getting out of this mess. Dr. So-and-so looks respectable enough, but he's actually quite fond of flirting. From what I know, 2 younger female students in his research group have been hit on by him. The year before last, during their lab's dinner gathering, they went karaoke, and he got a strange girl's phone number. Within a few days, I saw him having dinner with that girl. As for whether anything else happened at night, I don't know. P.S. That girl wasn't Suli. Suli is even worse. After you two got engaged, she often came to the lab looking for him, claiming she wanted to ask about academic problems. Once, I saw Dr. So-and-so explaining math to her, then he kissed her, and she didn't dodge. I don't know if Sister Chow was heartbroken after you broke up. All I can say is, congratulations to Sister Chow for dodging a bullet. No need to shed a single tear for that kind of scumbag. Alright, I won't bother you anymore. I'll delete you now, wishing you happiness in the future. I stared at these messages, arriving one after another, and for a moment, I didn't know how to react. When I went to message the whistleblower, I found that they had already blocked me. I suspect the whistleblower is likely one of Ho Junfei's fellow disciples. From the looks of it, Ho Junfei and Suli have had intimate contact. Even around the time of our engagement. What's even more disgusting is that Ho Junfei not only flirted with Suli but also very likely had relations with other women. One wave of darkness hit after another. My hands were trembling as I took out my phone and dialed the number I had memorized for 8 years, intending to confront him, but just as I was about to press the green call button, I stopped. We've already broken up. Even if he admitted it, it wouldn't matter anymore. I asked the waiter to open a bottle of wine and down several glasses in a row. Really, it's even more disgusting than swallowing a fly. 28. I've had too much to drink. The lounge manager offered to call a designated driver for me, but I refused. I wanted to get some fresh air and clear my head. Why, just when my wound is about to heal, you have to come and tear off the scab again. I've had too much to drink and can barely walk steady. I just take off my high heels and walk barefoot, crying as I walk. Bastard. Scumbag. My phone rings. As soon as I answer, my best friend asks anxiously, Shasha, are you okay? I've called you several times and you didn't pick up. I squat down on the ground and burst into tears. My best friend quickly asks, what's wrong? Did that jerk Lu Xiao upset you? I'll have my husband call him and give him a piece of my mind. I'm crying so hard I can barely breathe. Ho Junfei is going to marry Suli. Bestie, your voice sounds off. Have you been drinking? Getting wasted over that jerk isn't worth it. Babe, no. I shrieked in frustration. I just found out today that he's been hooking up behind my back. Not Suli, some other girl. There was a moment of silence on the phone. My best friend gritted her teeth. Bastard. I burst into tears. Xiaoyu, I'm so miserable, betrayed by someone I loved. No one loves me. I'm so pathetic. She quickly tried to comfort me. You're not pathetic. You still have me. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. I shook my head. I don't know. I have no idea where I am, she said gently. Then send me your location. Don't wander off, okay? I sent my location and sat crying on the curb. After crying for a while, I felt much more clear-headed. I put on my shoes, staggered to my feet, and walked toward the bridge, leaning against the railing. The cool breeze made me feel much better. I comforted myself, saying it's better to find out now than after getting married. It's okay, it's all in the past. Just then, I heard a car horn behind me. I turned around and saw an off-road vehicle pull over to the side of the road. A very tall man got out. It seemed like, who was that again? Oh, it's that guy from today. Now I'm even more irritated. What are you doing? Lu Xiao stood in front of me, sniffed, and asked coldly, drinking in the middle of the night, planning to jump into the river. Jump into your mom. I ignored him and turned to leave. Lu Xiao followed behind me. Xiaoyu called me and tore into me. If I said anything offensive today, I can apologize, but drowning yourself in alcohol and doing something dangerous because of it, that's just stupid. Enough already, I yelled at him. Don't flatter yourself, it has nothing to do with you. Lu Xiao sneered. Oh, so it's because of your ex. That's even dumber. I pressed my hand against my stifled chest and turned to leave, only to twist my ankle and strong hand grabbed my arm. Let go, I said coldly. You can't stand steady. Lu Xiao pulled me toward the car. I'll take you to your best friend's place. Come on. I yanked my hand back. Mind your own business. He only held on tighter. That was the last straw. I stepped forward, seized his collar, and prepared to throw him over my shoulder. Who knew? He didn't budge an inch. Turning my head, I saw a mocking smile on the man's face. Fuming, I let go of him, lost my balance, and fell flat on the ground. Awkward, mortifyingly awkward. Lu Xiao reached out his hand to help me up. You just assaulted an officer. I slapped his hand away and challenged him. Then go ahead and cuff me. Lu Xiao chuckled, bent down to help me up, and said, all right, Miss Chow, stop fooling around. I'll take you home. Suddenly, I remembered the photo that whistleblower had sent me. My anger flared, and I blurted out without thinking, hey, Officer Liu, how about a night together? No sooner had the words left my mouth than I regretted them, cursing myself for spouting nonsense after a few drinks. I was just about to tell Lu Xiao not to take it seriously, that I was just in a bad mood and joking around. But then he paused for a few seconds, considered it seriously, and gave a soft sure. 29, 3 in the morning. I lay completely naked on the bed, a half-stranger behind me. Now I was fully sober, and the memories were painfully clear. I covered my face with my hands. Oh my God, what on earth have I done? Everything that happened in the past few hours was completely, utterly mortifying to recall. I remember getting into his car. No one spoke the whole way, not while entering the neighborhood, not in the elevator, not at the doorstep. After we got inside my place, I was about to say, "It's too late, you should go home," but he asked first, "Get started right away, or take a shower first?" Once again, I spoke without thinking, "Let's just start." No sooner had the words left my mouth than he pulled me into his arms. A rough, possessive kiss swept over me, leaving me almost breathless. He paused for a moment, his voice low and husky. "How tall are you?" My mind went blank from the kiss. 163. He chuckled softly, "A bit short." I was annoyed. "What?" He immediately kissed me again. "I have to bend down a lot when I kiss you. It's uncomfortable," I taunted him. "Oh, Officer Lou, is your back not good?" He gave me a little bite. "Whether my back is good or not, you'll find out soon enough." "All right, I see." In the time that followed, I kept drifting in and out of consciousness, crying nonstop, but to be fair, it felt pretty good, and he had an amazing body too. The man behind me cleared his throat softly. I quickly closed my eyes and pretended to be fast asleep. He tucked the blanket around me, pulled me close, and went back to sleep. I didn't dare move. Somehow, I felt a little happy when I woke up again. It was already 8 the next morning. My head was throbbing, my body felt weak and sore, and the space behind me was empty. Could he be in the living room? I put on my clothes. But the moment my feet touched the floor, my legs gave way and I collapsed to my knees. I took a moment to recover, then propped up my aching back and stood up. Leaving the bedroom, I found the place empty and silent. He was gone. For some reason, I felt a pang of disappointment. I shrugged it off. Whatever, just adults playing games. Then, my gaze was drawn to the food on the table. On the table sat a carton of milk, for steamed buns, and a small dish of pickled vegetables. Under the milk was a piece of paper, with neat, firm handwriting. "Miss Chow, something came up with my team, so I had to leave first. I bought you this breakfast. Heat it up before you eat." I pinched the paper between my fingers. "Miss Chow, such a distant way to address me." "Never mind, we were practically strangers who just happened to be somewhat familiar." I tossed the note into the trash can. I opened my phone and saw a bunch of messages from my best friend, asking how I was doing and telling me to call her back once I'd sobered up. I called her. "Hello," she answered anxiously. "Girl, finally you pick up." I laughed. "I just woke up, feeling a bit guilty." I cleared my throat and asked awkwardly, last night, why did Lu Xiao come to pick me up?" She said, "When you sent me your location, my husband was on the phone with Lu Xiao." "What a coincidence, he happened to be near the bridge." "We figured, since he's a detective, he'd be the best person to take you home." "That guy wasn't too keen on it at first. By the way, Xia, did he say something nasty to you again?" My face was burning hot. "Not really." Worried that my best friend might pick up on something, I quickly added, "He said I'm too short." My friend said angrily, "You're not short at all. Don't mind him, okay?" After hanging up, I pursed my lips and smiled, but I couldn't smile for long. There was a meeting on Monday morning. Damn, I was way too late. 30. I hurried through my morning routine and rushed to the company. By the time I finished dealing with all the tasks, it was already noon. I rubbed my sore shoulders and neck, opened my phone, and found that someone with a basketball star as their profile picture had sent me over 20 photos of delicious food. Then this person asked, "What are you having for lunch?" I don't remember adding someone like that. Oh, right, I used to have a habit of ordering takeout from restaurants near the company, probably some restaurant owner promoting their business. So annoying. Not interested, thanks, I replied. The boss instantly replied, "Okay, sorry to bother you." I continued working. Just before the end of the afternoon, the restaurant owner with the soccer star profile picture sent me over 20 more photos, and like a robot, asked, "What would you like to eat this afternoon?" "I can deliver it." I was already getting annoyed. "Busy, not eating, do not disturb." "Thanks," he replied. "Okay, sorry to bother you." I blocked him immediately. What kind of restaurant sends 40 or 50 pictures a day? Ridiculous. I made a cup of coffee and opened the call log. Before meeting Lu Xia yesterday, I made a call and saved the number. Should I call him back? No. Why should I be the one reaching out? It makes me look desperate. Then again, he really just pulls up his pants and acts like he doesn't know me. Maybe he really is busy at work and hasn't had time to call me. 2 days passed, and still no word from him. Damn, they really treat me like a one-time hookup, for no reason at all. I felt a surge of frustration. Just then, My assistant knocked on the door and came in carrying a small cardboard box. Mr. Chow, a local courier just arrived. For you, I quickly composed myself and said with a smile, bring it here, but the moment I saw the sender's name on the box, my face fell. It was Suli. I wanted to just throw it away, but I was curious what she had sent me. Upon opening it, oh, it was an invitation. Mr. Ho Junfei and Ms. Suli are getting married on July 20th, and they have specially invited Ms. Chow Xia to attend. There was also a note, which read, Ms. Chow, I've forgotten all the unpleasantness of the past, both my senior and I would like to have your blessing. By the way, I heard you've been single all this time. How pitiful. Come to the wedding. Maybe we'll introduce you to a handsome groomsman. And at the very bottom, there was a smiley face drawn. Bad luck. Disgusting. Damn. Now I'm even more pissed off. On a sudden impulse, I did something stupid again. I dialed Lu Zhao's number. It rang twice before he picked up. Hello. He was out of breath on the other end. I regretted it as soon as I called. Busy. At that moment, I heard an unfamiliar man's complaining voice on the other end of the line. Lucy, why are you running? You just knocked over my drink. Lu Xiao gave a dry cough twice and asked, is there something you need? Miss Chow, I took a deep breath. Are you free tonight? Lu Xiao paused for a few seconds. What happened? Such a perceptive man. I hesitated for 2 seconds. My jerk of an ex is getting married. That woman sent me an invitation, then mocked me for being single and offered to set me up with one of the groomsmen. Lu Xiao let out a low chuckle. So, you want to do it? I touched my slightly flushed face with the back of my hand. Well, Lu Xiao, probably not tonight. I have something, I quickly said. Sorry to bother you. Then I hung up the phone. How embarrassing. So embarrassing. I got rejected. Woo. 31. I went home in the evening, did a face mask, and was just about to go to sleep. The phone rang. It was Lu Xiao. Somewhat surprised, I picked up. Hello, Lu Xiao's deep voice came through. I'm downstairs at your place. Come let me in. Ah. I froze for a moment. Oh, okay, sure. I hung up, sprang to my feet in an instant, and quickly dabbed on some color-correcting primer to brighten my complexion, made a point of applying blush, and put on a very soft, youthful lip color. After I was done, I unlocked the door. Before long, a knock came at the door. I opened the door and saw Lu Xiao holding a large bag full of groceries in his left hand and a paper bag in his right. Why so much stuff? Lu Xiao walked in and, acting as if he owned the place, swapped his shoes for slippers. The other day I noticed your fridge was empty. I happened to pass by the supermarket, so I thought I'd stock you up. I glanced at my phone. Which supermarket is open at 11 at night? Then it hit me. I was wearing a nightgown, but no bra. It was pretty obvious. Awkward. Lu Xiao had clearly noticed too and gave a dry cough. Have you eaten? He asked. I've eaten, I replied. Want more? I could make a late-night snack, he asked again. I'll get fat, so no thanks, I answered. Lu Xiao lifted the bag. Then I'll put it in the fridge for you. I stepped aside to make room. Okay. He busied himself in the kitchen. I hurried back to the bedroom and put on a bra. By the time I came out, he had already put away the food. Our eyes met, and we both felt a little awkward. I gestured toward the bathroom with my chin. You go ahead and wash up first. Lu Xiao curled his lips. I already showered in the staff dorm. Oh, I said. The atmosphere felt like it could ignite at any moment. Then I said something stupid again. Maybe take another shower. I needed a bit of time to mentally prepare. Lu Xiao took my hand. Let's go together. Then things took a strange turn. The bathroom, the living room sofa, the bedroom, and finally back to the bathroom. By the time we went to sleep, it was already 2 in the morning. I finally found out what was in his paper bag, his pajamas, along with daily necessities like a razor. Pretty well prepared. Kid, 32. The two of us lay on the bed, entering the post-coital clarity. By now, we should have evolved from semi-strangers to close acquaintances, right? I couldn't help but let out a laugh. Lu Zhao's voice was low and gentle. What's wrong? I wrapped my arms around his waist and touched his abs. Last time you grilled me about my background. Now it's my turn to interrogate you. Why did you and your ex break up? Lu Xiao was silent for a few seconds. Her first love came back from abroad. She left me at our engagement party and walked away with him. I teased. I didn't know Officer Liu read romance novels too. If you don't want to talk about it, just say so. Lu Xiao gritted his teeth. It's true. No way. I lay against his chest and stared at his face. Tisk. TSK. That first love of hers must be ridiculously handsome for your ex to actually leave you behind. Lu Xiao snorted coldly. She's pretty average looking, but she has a PhD from a top school. My ex said she doesn't care about looks, what she wants is a deep connection of hearts and souls, fucking PhD. I rolled my eyes too and cursed along, fucking PhD. We glanced at each other and burst out laughing. Guess we're both losers in love. Why should we act like strangers? I asked curiously. So, after you broke up with your ex, how many relationships have you had? Lu Xiao shook his head. Work's been hectic, no time for dating. I said oh and mustered up the courage to ask, then, how many hookups have you had? Lu Xiao stared straight at me. One, just you. My heart inexplicably started racing. Lu Xiao asked, what about you? Have you dated anyone since your breakup? I told the truth. My shady boss set me up a few times. I went out for some meals, but no one caught my eye. You're the first one I've had an in-depth connection with. Lu Xiao's lips curled upward as he pulled me closer. I smiled. Since we're already this familiar with each other, let's add each other on WeChat. Lu Xiao pouted. We did, but you deleted me the day before yesterday. I sat straight up. What the hell? I slapped my forehead, pointed at him in disbelief, and said, wait, are you the one with the basketball star avatar who sent me dozens of food photos? Lu Xiao nodded, reached his long arm over to the nightstand, and picked up his phone. He opened WeChat and showed me his account. It really was him. Even more surprised, I said. When did I ever add you? Lu Xiao raised an eyebrow. The year before last. Xiaoyu said her best friend had just broken up and wanted to set us up, so she sent me your WeChat contact. I swallowed hard. Oh my god. Oh my god. He added me as far back as the year before last. Just then, Lu Xiao also sat up, grabbed my chin, and adopted a mock-threatening tone. Come to think of it, why did you delete me? I raised both hands in surrender. I thought you were the owner of that restaurant near the company. You started sending me dozens of photos out of nowhere and asked if I wanted to eat. I got annoyed and blocked you. A clear trace of amusement appeared in Lu Xiao's eyes. He muttered, so that's it. I thought you were just the kind of person who ghosts someone after getting what they want. I heard him clearly but asked on purpose. What did you say? Lu Xiao, nothing. Go to sleep. By then, I was fully awake from chatting. Can't sleep. Lu Xiao's hand slid to my waist, and he suggested, want to go another round then? I closed my eyes. I'm dead. Lu Xiao, ha ha ha. 33. Lu Xiao and I have settled into a stable relationship. We're both busy with work, so we don't spend every day glued to each other. Whenever he has free time, he'll take the initiative to cook for me. He's really a great cook, and when I'm feeling lonely or bored, I just send him a 111. He instantly gets it and replies with 000, buys condoms, and comes over for the full package. Over time, more and more of his things have ended up at my place: socks, underwear, a toothbrush, a change of clothes, his laptop. Sometimes on weekends, we go hiking or watch movies, but more often than not, we just laze around at home. 2 months passed like this, and we grew more and more accustomed to each other's rhythm. I realized one thing, neither of us had ever defined our relationship. Are we friends, friends with benefits, or something else? I figured I should ask and make things clear. If he only sees me as a short-term fling, then I need to make a choice as soon as possible. 34. It was quickly mid-September, and both Lu Xiao and I had signed up for the marathon. I decided to get things straight today. The sky was overcast, as if brewing a storm. Lu Xiao wore sunglasses and a short sports outfit. His strong, long legs were especially eye-catching, making him look even more dashing and handsome. I took out the sunscreen I had prepared and applied it to my arms and neck. Let me help you. Lu Xiao naturally took the sunscreen and spread it on the back of my neck, smiling as he asked, you haven't forgotten the running tips I taught you, have you? I waved a hand. Oh, I'm just here for the experience. You focus on getting a good place, Lu Xiao said earnestly. The ranking doesn't matter. What matters is that we run the whole race together. That means a lot. My heart began to race. What does it mean? Just then, a staff member walked over with a loudspeaker and shouted, time's almost up. All athletes, please get ready. Really? Couldn't start earlier or later, had to start right now. Lu Xiao and I joined the queue and got into position. The gun went off, and the athletes began running at different paces. With something on my mind, I jogged slowly. Lu Xiao stayed by my side, running along with me. I laughed and said, you don't have to stick with me. I might be getting my period soon and I'm not feeling too well. I'll be running very slowly today. Lu Xiao rubbed my head. It's fine. The marathon is long. I have good stamina, and I can definitely make a comeback in the middle to later stages. I'll keep you company for a slow run first. I turned my head to look at him, my emotions complicated. Tisk. He's so handsome, really just my type. What if he really just sees me as a bed partner? What if one day he suddenly tells me he's found his true love and we shouldn't see each other anymore? What then? I sighed. What can I do? The world keeps turning no matter who leaves, Lu Xiao asked softly. What's wrong, Xia? Xia, you seem preoccupied. Is something not going well at work? It's all right. I adjusted my posture and glanced at him sideways. Last night, I saw you standing on the balcony making a phone call for quite a while. Who was it? Lu Xiao replied directly. My ex. She's coming back to the country. My heart skipped a beat, and I grew increasingly uneasy. After running silently for 10 minutes, I asked, why is your ex contacting you now that she's returning? Lu Xiao chuckled wryly. She divorced her white moonlight and wants to get back together with me. I couldn't quite process that statement right away, and with my left foot tripping over my right, I ended up falling flat on my face. My knee was scraped, and a bit of blood seeped out. I sat on the ground, grimacing in pain. Lu Xiao crouched down in front of me, quickly checking my wound. Just then, a volunteer from the roadside came over with a first aid kit. Are you all right, miss? The volunteer took out saline solution and iodine, ready to examine my wound. I'm fine, I looked at Lu Xiao and gave an apologetic smile. I'm afraid I can't run anymore. Don't worry about me. Hurry to the competition. Lu Xiao took the saline solution from the volunteer and helped me clean the wound. It's not an important event anyway. I won't run. His technique was very professional. After cleaning, he disinfected it with iodine and then applied a dressing. As I watched him, my thoughts were in turmoil. He and his ex had even reached the point of engagement, so their feelings must have been deep. His ex took the initiative to propose getting back together. I wonder if he, at that moment, Lu Xiao supported my arm and helped me up. How are you, Xia? Can you still walk? I tried to take a couple of steps, and it hurt a bit. Sure, I thanked the volunteer girl and gritted my teeth as I walked forward. Suddenly, Lu Xiao crouched down in front of me. I was startled. What are you doing? Lu Xiao patted his own back with his hand. I'll carry you on my back. Come on up. I glanced around. There were many people on the roadside, and I felt quite embarrassed. Forget it, I can still walk. Why push yourself so hard? Lu Xiao simply picked me up on his back. Sure enough, cheers and shouts erupted from the roadside. I felt even more embarrassed. Turning my face away and resting my head on his back, he was very clean, with no strange smells on him. Instead, he had a pleasant scent of sunshine and vanilla. I sighed. Lu Xiao tilted his head slightly. Ever since I mentioned my ex, you've been acting strange. Let's hear it. Too perceptive. I hesitated for a moment before asking directly, would you get back together with your ex? Lu Xiao didn't even think about it. Of course not. I breathed a sigh of relief, then the corners of my lips lifted, but soon I was weighed down with worries again. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Lu Zi, can we talk? Lu Xiao smiled and said, sure. What do you want to talk about? I pursed my lips slightly. I want to know how you see our relationship. Lu Xiao raised an eyebrow. And you, how do you see it? I cautiously observed his expression. I want to know if we're friends, or just bedmates, or something else. This is really important to me, as it will determine how I plan my life from now on. Lu Xiao abruptly stopped walking. I noticed his expression suddenly turned very dark. It was terrifying. What's wrong? I asked weakly. Lu Xiao was clearly holding back his anger. I always thought we were in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I was shocked. When did you think that? Lu Xiao's cheeks puffed out. The day we met on the blind date. That night, he gritted his teeth as he said the last two words. All right then. Lu Xiao turned his head and laughed. So I thought we were dating, but you thought we were just hanging out. I felt as if fireworks were going off in my heart, and I tightly wrapped my arms around his neck. Hee. Lu Xiao snorted coldly. I kissed him on the cheek. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up, yet he still kept a straight face, still very angry. You know, I leaned close to his ear and whispered, I bought a super sexy set of lingerie. His smile stretched all the way to his temples. All right, I forgive you. That day, Lu Xiao carried me on his back and completed the entire marathon. I think I know why now. Why? At the start of the race, he insisted on carrying me through the entire course. 35. That evening, Lu Xiao and I officially announced that we were together. My best friend called immediately, asking us to treat her to a thank you matchmaker meal. Consider it done. It turns out that being in a physically and mentally healthy relationship really can transform a person. Lu Xiao and I are a perfect match in every way. Before we knew it, we had been together for half a year and had met each other's parents. We got our marriage certificate at the end of the year, with the wedding planned for the following Year, on Christmas Day, we went to take our wedding photos while getting my makeup done. Bored and with nothing to do, I opened Weibo to catch up on the latest gossip. Suddenly, I remembered that back when I was chasing stars and boosting data for my favorite idol, I had created a secondary account. That secondary account was mutually following my ex. It's quite a nostalgic thought, looking back. The breakup with Ho Junfei and that long withdrawal period feel like something from a past life. It turns out, it's been a long time since I last cried for him. In fact, I haven't thought about him in a long time either. I logged into my alternate account, and there were 99 plus messages in the inbox. When I opened them, most were private messages from Ho Junfei. 36. Scrolling up, the first message was from March, back when we had a terrible falling out and had just broken up. Ho Junfei, Xiao Xia. A woman with your personality will never find a man who wants you. Lily is 1,000, 10,000 times better than you, younger, prettier. I hope the next time we meet is when one of us dies. No, you'll definitely die before me. I sneered and decided not to look any further, but out of boredom and curiosity, I wondered what he had said about me. There were a few private messages from late March, when Suli failed her postgraduate entrance exam interview. Xiao Xia, how shameless can you be? Bullying a girl in her early 20s, let me tell you, we're together now. Youth really makes a difference, especially fresh and tender. Attached was a photo of him kissing Suli. I felt disgusted and retched a few times. Keep scrolling down. In April, he sent me a few drunken voice messages, too long, so I chose the last 3-second one to listen to. Shashia, I miss you. I let out a cold laugh. There were also quite a few messages in May and June. Shashia, I know you've given up on this account, but I won't. This is the only way I can stay connected to you. It's strange. Right after the breakup, I hated you so much, wished you were dead. But as time went on, I calmed down and suddenly started missing you. One day when I got home, as I was changing my shoes, I instinctively called out, Xiaobao, I'm back. At that time, Suli heard about it and made a scene with me, resorting to wrist-cutting and heavy drinking. I'm really afraid of her. You wouldn't be like that. You're always beautiful and elegant, confident and generous, handling everything in an orderly manner. I looked at these messages. Back then, he admired that white moonlight, but once he truly had her, he found her too cold and distant. I continued scrolling down. Xia Xia, Suli is pregnant. You know, I really want to push her off the building and make her lose the child. I know exactly what she's planning. Her mother is sick, and she needs a stable family and a fool to keep giving her money. I suggested that since we're still young, we should hold off on having children for now. She immediately questioned me, asking if I still had feelings for you. I didn't dare say yes, because she's like a ticking time bomb, always on the verge of exploding. I'm about to graduate and can't let her ruin my future. We bought a very small house, only 2 bedrooms, but we still have to set aside one for her parents. Every time I come home and see her mother, I feel like I'm going crazy. I keep wishing she would just die, but she just won't. I know I've become twisted, but I can't control myself. Reading these messages sent a chill down my spine. My judgment of him at the time was quite accurate. Why was he being ambiguous with Suli while also persistently pursuing me? Because I was his best choice. Romance and passion are built on a foundation of material comfort. Once it comes down to the daily grind of life, all that remains for his girl is accumulated resentment. I continued reading. In July, Ho Junfei posted a wedding photo. In the photo, Suli smiled sweetly and happily, while Ho Junfei also smiled, but his eyes revealed a sense of indifference. Xia, I don't want to marry her. Just say the word, and I'll give up my studies, everything, and leave with you right away. Xia, I love you. Please forgive me. Okay, tomorrow, I'll come find you. My heart skipped a beat. Had Ho Junfei actually looked for me? I quickly scrolled down. The next day's message included a photo from Ho Junfei, showing Lu Xiao. Xia, I came to find you. Sneaked into your new neighborhood. I didn't dare disturb your rest, so I sat downstairs all night. Then, the next morning, I saw him. I saw you two walking out holding hands. Is he your new boyfriend? Can you tell me what he does for a living? Does he treat you well? Tell me, this is very important to me. I frowned and looked down. There were quite a few messages from August. Xia, I called Xiaoyu to ask about you, but she wouldn't say anything. She warned me not to disturb your peaceful life. Xia, are you happy? I'm not happy at all. Suli's pregnancy is getting further along, and her temper has been bad lately. She's very willful. I'm the only one earning money for the family now, and I'm so tired. I let out a cold laugh. There weren't many messages in September. Ho Junfei sent a photo of Lu Xiao carrying me on his back. Immediately after, there were over a dozen 60-second voice messages. I couldn't be bothered to listen. Finally, he sent a text message. You two look really good together. Sometimes I really wish I could turn back time, so that the man carrying you forward would be me. In October and November, most of his messages were still complaints about Suli. In December, just a few days ago, he sent a message. Xia, I heard you're getting married. Can you invite me? I can never be worthy of you again in this lifetime. Could you let me see with my own eyes how you walk toward happiness? I frowned and typed, don't come, don't disturb me. Typed and then deleted it. In the end, I deactivated this account. He'll probably understand what I mean the next time he sends a private message. At that moment, the makeup artist suddenly stopped and turned her head with a smile, saying, oh, the groom is here. I turned to look. Lu Xiao, dressed in a sharp, custom-tailored suit and carrying a paper bag, strode over. So handsome, I felt delighted inside. Lu Xiao stood beside me, looking down at me for a long time, and said, my wife is really beautiful. I smiled and asked, did you just go to buy food? Lu Xiao lifted the bag. Didn't you want to try Zhao's wonton? Here you go. As he spoke, he smiled at the staff and said, I've brought milk tea for everyone. Please, I'm counting on you to make my wife look like a fairy. The makeup artist, with great tact, replied, Miss Zhao is already a fairy even without makeup. Lu Xiao was quite pleased. Of course she is. I covered my lips and smiled. This guy, 37, after getting married. Lu Xiao and I seemed even sweeter than when we were dating. Whenever we have time, we go out and have fun. We've visited many cities together and tasted lots of delicious food. Ahem. We've also stayed in many hotels, and even in the wild. We plan to have a child by the end of the year. 38. I saw Ho Junfei again this August. A mutual friend of ours got married and invited both me and him. I was holding Lu Zhao's arm, discussing whether our next vacation should be to Sichuan to see the Sangsingui ruins or to Hunan to see the Yinshu ruins. We are both very interested in historical artifacts. Let's go to the Sangsingui Museum instead. Lu Zhao's eyes lit up. I've been wanting to see the bronze standing figure in person for a long time. I agreed. After that, we can go to Chengdu and feast on hot pot for days and nights. Lu Xiao pinched my cheek. No, that stuff is too spicy. Your stomach isn't in great shape, so you'll have to hold back. I complained. We could order it less spicy. Lu Xiao stood firm. Even the less spicy hot pot in Chengdu is still very spicy. I had been working too hard for the past month and ended up with acute gastroenteritis, which really worried Lu Xiao. I've been drinking traditional Chinese medicine lately to regulate my stomach and intestines, and this guy is particularly careful about my diet. He loves hot pot, but he leads by example and forces himself to quit. I tried to negotiate with him. I'll just take one bite when I go. Lu Xiao held me close, not even half a bite, probably seeing how pitiful I looked. He relented. How about we rinse the food in boiling water before eating it then? I scoffed. That's no better than eating plain boiled vegetables. As we laughed and joked, unexpectedly, I caught sight of Ho Junfei. He stood at the entrance of the banquet hall, staring at me in a daze. Beside him stood Suli. Suli was holding a child, looking a bit plumper, probably due to taking care of the baby, and much more worn out, but still quite delicate and pretty. Xia, Ho Junfei was about to step forward. Unexpectedly, Suli grabbed him and said, where are you going? I ignored them, linked arms with Lu Xiao, and went together to sign in and give the gift money. Entering the banquet hall, we sat on the groom's side with his relatives and friends. Xia, over here. My best friend Xiaoyu and her husband had arrived early and were waving to us. After sitting down, I smoothed my skirt and whispered to my best friend, why does it feel like so many people are looking our way? My best friend covered her mouth and laughed. In this whole venue, aside from the bride and groom, you two are the most dazzling couple. Handsome man, beautiful woman. She tapped my leg with her finger and subtly gestured with her chin toward the side. Following her direction, I looked over and saw Ho Junfei and his wife sitting at the next table. Big sis, don't stare so obviously. My best friend tugged at my sleeve, leaned in, and blinked. Want to hear some gossip? 39. I perked up. What is it? My best friend glanced sideways at the neighboring table. Last month, Ho Junfei was detained. I was shocked. What happened to him? Did he and his wife get into a fight and end up at the police station? No, my best friend said with an excited expression. That scumbag was caught in a prostitution raid for cheating. He insisted that he and the woman were in a relationship, which had been going on for 2 or 3 years, and he didn't know she was an escort. I remembered last year, when the whistleblower sent me a message hinting that Ho Junfei had checked into a hotel with a girl he met at a KTV. Now everything made sense. My best friend looked disgusted. I'm telling you, that saying is really true. When you see one cockroach, there's already a whole nest in the house. When that scumbag was flirting with Su Li, it definitely wasn't the first time. See, I turned my head to look at the table next to us. Just then, my eyes met Ho Junfei's. Ho Junfei stood up slightly and gave me a pitiful smile. Su Li directly threw her chopsticks on the table, glaring straight at Ho Junfei. Her best friend covered her mouth and snickered. No matter how rotten things are inside, you still have to keep up appearances. You have no idea. Su Li was clinging to her husband all day today, pretending to be especially affectionate, but in reality, they've already fought more than once at home. Everyone in our circle secretly laughs at Ho Junfei and her. Suddenly, the lights in the banquet hall dimmed, music began to play, and the bride, holding a bouquet of flowers, slowly walked toward the groom. I turned my head to look at the table next to us, where Su Li and Ho Junfei were still locked in a battle of wills. Su Li gave Ho Junfei's arm a hard pinch. Ho Junfei stared straight ahead, the veins on his forehead bulging from the pain, but he held it in. I shook my head and sighed. Su Li, she could have had a completely different life, yet she chose the worst path. What does it have to do with me? I won't meddle in other people's karma. I'll just guard my own happiness. I looked ahead. The host on stage was witty and humorous, teasing the bride and groom, making the guests burst into laughter. At that moment, Lu Xiao took my hand. Unconsciously, I leaned against him, interlocking our fingers as we watched the ceremony together. The host held the microphone up to the groom's mouth and asked, "Say it. Do you love your wife?" The groom shouts, "Love." The host asks again, "Do you hand over your bank account to your wife?" The groom replies, "Yes." The host laughs and says, "All right, now the groom may kiss the bride." Cheers and applause erupt around them. At that moment, Lu Xiao suddenly leans in and kisses my lips. "Xia, I love you so much." What a coincidence. So do I, the end.